for Cork. This was their first goal that done by Donagh Stack there, taking the goal well despite good Galway cover, what should have been good Galway cover there. This is Michael Bowles, a good point from him. He indeed was Cork's man of the match in that minor game. Galway did have a goal chance in the second half. That's Gerard Kelly, but a great save there from Darren McCarthy, the Cork goalkeeper. And this is Cork's second goal, scored by Ryan Clifford from the Newton Shandon club, promising young hurler. Final score then, Cork 2-19, Galway 8 points in that minor match, and a promising Cork minor team, obviously, on the strength of that. Okay, then we are looking out to see.
Any changes, any last dramatic changes in your team?
No changes, Marty, no. As selected, we're playing.
Well, you're back in Croke Park, so obviously you must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's another big challenge for us. You know, we've done well in the league and the championship so far, but this is another big test, and we'll have to be on our toes to come out of this one.
The fact that you've met them 3 times already this season, twice in the league and once in the championship, is that advantage Waterford, or is it in some way advantage Cork?
Well, we know one another pretty well. I mean, it's not a case of not knowing, but I think, you know, there's great rivalry there and there's great intensity when we play, but I think it's another game. We have to take it on stride and we can't be picking and choosing, really.
Gerald, how do you feel about this quarter-final?
Well, quite nervous now, getting close to the game, but, you know, we've prepared very well for it, Marty, and we do know that we have to improve on our last performance against Waterford. We need to up it a little bit from that. And that's what we've been aiming to do. And, you know, these games between Waterford and ourselves have been very, very close. They go right down to the very last few minutes and the last few points in most games. So I think it could be that way again today. If it's not, I hope we're on the right side of it. If it's not a thriller, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle.
That's what the two managers think. Two Corkmen with different objectives today. You know,
League champions look a formidable outfit, with James Murray, who lost his place for the Munster final, returning to cornerback. Owen Kelly will now apparently start at centre field with team captain Michael Brick Walsh. Seamus Prendergast will wear 11 and probably play there, while Paul Flynn will wear number 12 but almost certainly not play there. Undoubtedly John Mullane and the hero of the Munster final, Dan Shanahan, will play close to goal, but as to where Jack Kennedy and Stephen Malumphey will end up, it's anybody's guess. It's the All-Ireland quarter-final. It's Croke Park, it's knockout, and guess what? It's the strongest Cork team of the season, with Joe Dean at top of the left taking over the captaincy. Donal Cusick, Diarmuid O'Sullivan and Sean O'Halpine, who missed out on the June 17th clash with Waterford, are back and will wear jersey numbers 1, 3 and 7. Returning from injuries are cornerback Shane O'Neill and Brian Murphy, while Tom Kenny rekindles his old partnership with Jerry O'Connor at midfield. The latter's twin brother Ben starts at wing forward, with Timmy McCarthy leading the attack from the 40. Well, Michael Dignan, former All-Ireland winner with Offaly, of course, joins me. Let's have a look in more detail at these teams. Clinton Henry. Full backline is quite strong, particularly with the Rock. Diarmuid O'Sullivan back there.
Yeah, well, I think it's the first time this year, to be fair to them, they've leaked a lot of goals, but this is the first time they've had their full backline. Brian Murphy was sick the last day, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan rock solid, and he's not called the Rock for nothing.
What about this for a half backline? Gardner, Curran, O'Halpine.
Yeah, brilliant, but I think the pressure's on them a bit today. You know, against Tipperary they folded. They were brilliant in the first 20 minutes, and you know, Gardner and Curran haven't particularly good years, but I think Sean Og is under a bit of pressure and he needs a big one today.
And of course at midfield, what a partnership that has served Cork well. Tom Kenny and Jerry O'Connor.
Outstanding midfielder. I think they've brought midfield to a new level, and I saw Chaff Fitzpatrick last year, Brick Walsh coming up to that level, but really as a partnership there's no one to touch them. They're outstanding athletes and hurlers.
Now here's a talking point, the selection of Timmy McCarthy on the 40.
Yeah, great servant to Cork over the years. You know, gets a lot of stick down in Cork, but I think he does a good job, and he's going to move Ken McGrath all over the place. Ben O'Connor's form hasn't been great, so he'll be looking for a big one as well today. And Cronin is the find of the season. And
of course in the full forward line, Joe Dean takes over as captain.
Yeah, and Tomas was saying there, you know, you have to get the ball into him. I think he's suffered over the last couple of years because of the slow supply of ball, and you know, if he gets it fast, he'll do damage.
And this afternoon here in Croke Park on the Sunday Game Live, our head-to-head is a most interesting clash. It's the battle of the two number 14s, Dan Shanahan of Waterford and Kieran Murphy of Sarsfields and Cork. It's an interesting tussle. That's all to come. Let's go back to Mike.
Able to win trophies.
To be fair
It's a
to
good
Waterford,
team.
everyone's in
Absolutely.
question, but they're doing it the hard way. Like, they've won the league, won the Munster final. If they are to win this All-Ireland, and no one will begrudge them it, Michael, they deserve it, because they're coming through a very, very hard campaign. But it's very hard to keep playing these top-level matches and keep winning every one of them. Cork have lost 2, I believe, and they could still win this evening.
Right, where's your tenor?
I just think that Waterford might do, but you couldn't count Cork out. And everyone's saying it's going to be a tight game.
Come on, you went for Cork on the Sunday game a couple of weeks ago. You're going for Waterford now. Make the call. Make the call.
This is telling me yesterday.
No, make the call.
I have a feeling that this game may not be as tight as people think. I just thought Cork was very relaxed this morning to Austin Hotel. I couldn't believe it. Just like if they're going up in the park.
Well,
Right, I know
I'm going to upset him. I'm going to go for Cork.
Match commentary then on this one by Marty Morrissey and Michael Duigan.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good afternoon. Welcome to Croke Park. It's a wonderful scene here, almost packed to capacity. A quarter-final of the Guinness All-Ireland Hurling Championship, a clash between Cork and Waterford. It's been a festival of hurling here in the capital between yesterday's games between Wexford and Tipperary, Galway and Kilkenny, Clare and Limerick, just as you saw just a short time ago, and of course now Cork and Waterford. Throw in the minor games as well, and if you're a hurling fan, the place to be is here in Croke Park. If you're not, well, then you should be watching the Sunday game live, because it really is a tremendous atmosphere. Waterford have beaten Cork 3 times already this year, twice in the league and once in the championship, and my gut feeling, I don't know whether you agree with me or not, Michael Duigan, I can hardly see Cork losing a 3rd time, and particularly a 2nd time in the championship.
Yeah, well, I think that's what we're all saying, you know. I suppose you have to say they're lucky to be here, you know. To lose twice in the championship and still be in it is a bit crazy in my book, but they're here anyway. And you know, the big thing, Marty, it's the outstanding games that these two teams have produced over the last decade. Like, really, you know, they have been the two teams, their clash haven't been the highlight of the last 7 or 8 years. They've produced outstanding games, great sportsmanship, great scores, and you know, I don't know who's going to win today, and normally I'd have a very strong view one way or the other. I kind of fancy Cork on that basis, that, you know, they can't lose again. They're really fired up, they have everyone back. A lot of things have been going against them during the year, and they have everything right today. But Waterford, you know, it's not really fair to be dismissing them either with the great players they have in their team. But it's all about the game. Let the ball go in, and what a game we're going to have here today. I think it'll be another classic.
Do you think there's an awful lot of pressure on the Waterford players? Because everybody, the whole country is saying, I'd love to see Waterford win the All-Ireland. This is the year they've got to do it. They're getting a little bit older. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, there is, but you have to be able to handle pressure if you want to win anything, you know, and they're very experienced at this stage. You know, all their players, even Jack Kennedy and Stephen Lumphy, they've had a couple of years now. Aidan Carney is really the only new one. So they're around a long, long time. And, you know, you can't, if you want to win All-Ireland, you have to stand up and be counted on the big day. And Waterford, you know, they have won their Munster Championship, they've won their National League now. But if they want to win All-Ireland, you have to come out and deliver in Croke Park. And that's what they haven't done in the past. You know, they have played well enough, but they haven't made the breakthrough. And this team, this is their last chance with this particular team. And if they want to make the breakthrough, they have to prove themselves today.
Well, it's the 9th championship clash since 1999. They've met every year since 2002, met twice in 2005, and of course now heading for their 2nd championship clash this season. And if you're into history books, it's the 56th championship meeting between the counties. Cork have registered 42 victories with Waterford's 11 and 3 draws. Sean O'Halpine continues to march behind the Artane boys band. Waterford have broken. They won the toss, by the way, and they've decided to play from right to left. And it's going to be a tussle. I think will go the full 70 minutes and maybe even beyond. Don't know what the betting is on the draw, but I think there's always a possibility when these two counties meet that we could be going to replay. Diarmuid O'Sullivan, I noticed just before the game there, had all the players around him, and he seemed to give a really heartwarming, passionate speech.
He did. I was watching that, and you know, a man who wears his heart in his sleeve, and it comes in for a certain amount of criticism for being a tough player, but he actually, you know, he's a hard man, but he plays the ball, and I think he's actually settled into a very steady full-back over the last couple of years. He's not doing the spectacular, but an outstanding leader, and that's what Cork have throughout the field, and they'll be looking for big games from him, from Ben O'Connor, Sean Oak, who really haven't been at their best all year, and if they all click today, you know, Cork will win. But Waterford, as I say, they want to prove themselves, they want to get to an Ireland final, and Kilkenny be waiting for whoever comes in, and it won't be easy on any of them to beat Kilkenny. We're all forgetting about Kilkenny.
It's going to be a tough journey for Waterford. They have to beat Cork here this afternoon, and they'll be facing Limerick in a few weeks' time. There's going to be a minute silence here in Croke Park because of the sad passing last night of young Pat Moore. His father was a famous referee. He's refereed several of the big games, but unfortunately young Pat, 23 years of age, lost his life in a drowning accident while on holidays last night. We pass on our deepest sympathies to the Moore family and all their relations as well. And I'm sure by over 70,000 people. On June 17th, Waterford beat Cork by 5-15 to 3-18. Total scores 8 goals and 33 points in an absolute thriller in Semple Stadium. The man in charge is the man who was in charge 12 months ago, or almost 12 months ago when they met. This is Brian Gavin from Clara in County Offaly. Big responsibility today for this All-Ireland quarter-final. The last draw was in 1989. 18 points each. Waterford won the replay. Will it go to that distance, or will it all be settled here today in Croke Park? Already changes. I can see that Jack Kennedy has moved to midfield with Michael Brick Walsh. Owen Kelly has gone to the left half-forward position, right half-forward position, in fact. Here's Paul Flynn. He starts at number 12, operating at number 12. Dispossessed as Jerry O'Connor comes away. Looking for John Gardner, perhaps. Under pressure, giving the ball away for Stephen Malumphey. Perhaps also the first score on its way. Donald Cusack gets a touch, but it sneaks over the crossbar. After 23 seconds of play, it's Waterford 1, Cork no score.
Yeah, I think this is the most improved hurler in the championship this year. Having a huge year for Waterford, and a player maybe not that well known until this year, but he's having a big mark in the championship.
Thankfully, glorious sunshine, blue skies here in the capital, making it an ideal day for the game of hurling as Sean O'Halpine swings this one in, but it's inaccurate, I'm afraid, in his perspective, to the right and wide. Hurler of the Year 2004 has just scored 1 point in the championship so far. Here's a man who won an All-Ireland back in '66, the Cork coach, Gerald McCarthy, looking on anxiously. Once, of course, coached Waterford. Started the process that Justin McCarthy has certainly built upon. Nice pickup by Ben O'Connor. Litan Chandron well represented here in Croke Park. The running off the ball by Timmy McCarthy is impressive, survives the challenge. This is McCarthy going through. Lovely little hook there by James Murray to pass the ball out to the wing, but it's Ben O'Connor once more. Here's the Cork captain for the day, Joe Dean. Uses the short grip, sends it high and sends it over the bar. In Croke Park at the moment, the story is number 15 Joe Dean has a point, number 15 Stephen Malumphey of Waterford has a point. It's 11.
Yeah, great score by Joe, and both teams have started well. They look sharp, look relaxed, and first touch very good, and augured well for a great game.
Puck out by Clinton Hennessy. Battle between Malumphey, who's operating at left half forward, marking John Gardner, and vice versa. Paul Flynn around the middle of the field. Rather unusual not to see him at the edge of the square. Big Dan Wakesford knocks it down for John Malone. Doesn't quite pick it up the first time. Here's Shane O'Neill from Bishopstown, an impressive and young player emerging on this Cork side over the past season, dispossessed by the experienced wily old fox that John Malone is. Lays it off. Farah's own Kelly floating this one in. Don't look, Cusack. Nice stick work. There's a little bit of pressure from Dan Shanahan. Gives it a short ball for Sean O'Halpine, the 30-year-old from the Piershig in the north side of Cork City. Gives it up for Joe Dean, tries to pull in it first time. With Owen Murphy from Shamrocks. Sideline ball, far side of the field. The 29-year-old who made his debut back in 1996 has scored 28 points in 5 championship games so far this season. Ball sent in low. Under pressure there is the Waterford fullback, Declan Prendergast. Lending assistance, Jack Kennedy wearing 10 but operating at midfield. Cleared by Ken McGrath. Flicked away, Stephen Malumphey battling hard. John Gardner. 2 Waterford players, one of them is John Malone. Turns onto his left, blocked again superbly by Brian Murphy. Renewing his old acquaintance with the cornerback from Bride Rovers in Cork. Nice ball, good ball into Dan Shanahan in space in front of the Cusack stand. Floats this one in, and it's going across the face of the goal and wide. First wide for Waterford. Interesting tussle going on in various places, and probably the most interesting will be between Dermot O'Sullivan and this man, Dan Shanahan.
Yeah, Waterford had it already. Like, Dan started centre forward, now he's in full, and you'll see that him changing with Seamus Prendergast. Could be out in the wing again in a few minutes. That's the way they play the game.
First to the ball is the Waterford captain, Michael Walsh. Goes for the ball into space. Waiting over there is Owen Kelly. Playing at right half forward this afternoon. And once again, just sneaking to the wrong side of the post for the Daishis. Positional switches, obviously, as normal service has resumed for Justin McCarthy and his team. Puck out is a reasonably quick one. Comes down past Tony Brown. Nice pickup ahead of Jerry O'Connor. A red-hearted player. He has it all. Passion, self-belief and skill. This is Brown, hurler of the year back in 1998 and still hurling as good as ever. All-star last year, All-star in 1998. Ken McGrath always seems to pick up man of the match awards, particularly in the Munster Championship against Cork. Hits this with everything. Every muscle in the body must have been used. It's Ken McGrath with a point from a massive three inside his own half of the field.
Yeah, and we're after seeing both Tony Brown and Ken McGrath. What two great players. We've talked about it many times, but Brown wins a great free and Ken sticks it over the bar, and we've seen that many times before.
Back it comes as far as Ben O'Connor. Some New Jersey pulling, spotted by the referee from Clara in County Offaly. It's going to be a free in for Cork, and coming across is Joe Dean. This is the foul. You can see the holding on Ben O'Connor. The referee was correct. The familiar poise style of Joe Dean. Hits it straight over Clinton Hennessy's crossbar. Level for the second time after just over 6 minutes of play. The sun into the eyes of the Cork players as that puck out is taken by Clinton Hennessy. Stalemate between the 45 and the 65-metre line. Referee correct to leave play continue. Ball stopped by Shane O'Neill from Bishopstown, south side of Cork City. Pumps it into the corner. Going after this is Declan Prendergast from Ardmore. Younger brother of the centre half forward, Seamus. Confident play by fullback and goalkeeper. Clinton Hennessy gives it long. Dan Shanahan back out around the 40 again. Picked up here by Jack Kennedy, lost it. Lays it off as the big, strong Seamus Prendergast gets through the challenge. Easily dealt with by Donald Logue. Changes the direction of play by sending it over towards Patrick Cronin, one of the most improved players in 2007 in terms of really building a name for himself. This ball is a testing one for Clinton Hennessy. Good hands again. Lays it off as his cornerback. That's Owen Murphy from the Shamrocks Club. Intermediate club indeed between Tallow and York. Comes down for his own Kelly. Sends it in for his John Milan. There's a buzz around Croke Park when he touches the slither. He turns, he shoots, and that's another point for Waterford.
That's a great score, Marty. Brilliant first touch by Milan here. You see it again. It's a very hard ball to control, coming at him very hard. A great first touch and over the bar. Great score by Milan.
Normal service resumed here in Croke Park between Cork and Waterford.
Yeah, lively start. I just noticed in Waterford they're playing the full forward line, playing way out the field, and they're looking to, obviously, that way Dan drifts in behind, they're leaving that space and they're hoping to get in there for a goal.
Fine catch by Patrick Cronin. Pa Cronin. Dropping this one in. Joe Dean looks around. Not for very long. There's a touch off the Waterford defender. Comes as far as the corner forwards, Neil Ronan, and that's over the bar. From Ballyea in the north side of the county of Cork. A player that was first choice back in the 1999 All-Ireland final. This is a superb catch here. Beautiful play by Pat Cronin from Bishopstown.
Yeah, he's doing it all year. And Marty, I think a feature already with Cork is the direct play. They're really Cork, no messing around, long ball into the square, and that's obviously their tactic today.
Level for the third time after 8 minutes. Here's Stephen Malumpy. Dermot O'Sullivan chasing after it. Goes for the height, and it has that vital ingredient of accuracy as well. The umpires consult, and it's Malumpy's second point of the afternoon. Damage to right corner back Sean O'Neill's Hurley. Needs an immediate replacement. Justin McCarthy in his 6th championship season with Waterford, and of course played with his opponent Gerald McCarthy in the 1966 All-Ireland final between Cork and Kilkenny, which of course the Leesiders won. going back to gather this is Ken McGrath. Has won 7 county championship medals with Mount Sion. Great club in the city of Waterford. Comes down for his number 8, Michael Brick Walsh. Tony Brown needs a little bit of time to control the slither, gives it long. John Milan is up there. So too is Dan Shanahan. Chance of a goal, and he sneaks it inside. Donald Cusick's post. He really is experiencing a rich vein of form, and the Daishies celebrate on Hill 16 and around this wonderful arena. A long ball into Dan Shanahan. Look at the skill here as he sneaked it past one of the best goalkeepers in Ireland, Donald Cusick.
Yeah, Marty, look at the room in behind. I was just talking about it a minute ago. All out the field and 40 yards of space. Long ball by Brown over the top, and that's what Dan does best. He drifts in there, very hard to pick him up, and a great finish.
He has scored 5 goals and 4 points in the championship up to now. Make that 6 goals and 4 points in 3 championship encounters. It's a remarkable record. Patrick Cronin seems to have picked up an injury down at the other end of the field, and Brian Gavin is making sure that the medical attention is available to him. But Dan Shanahan is undoubtedly the talking point of the hurling world, because his form at the moment is just incredible. He scored 6-4 in 3 games in 2004. He has 6-4 in 3 games in 2007.
Yeah, goal machine. But he's definitely the forward of the year, and he's a great, like I said it before, he's a fantastic attitude of the game. He loves hurling, goes out, wears his heart in his sleeve and gives it everything, and he's matured a bit then as well, and he's filled into a great athlete, and top class, and you'd be delighted for someone like him. He brings a bit of colour and excitement to the game.
Hard to imagine that 4 or 5 years ago he was finding it difficult to get his regular place in the team. Shows you what commitment and drive and determination can do. Mentioning those human characteristics, and the man in the picture has it all. Ken McGrath made his debut against Tipperary back in 1996. He's just a raw 18-year-old in Walsh Park. Here's Dan going for a point in front of the Hogan stand. It's magic from Dan the man. He looks like a man with a mission. Look at this. Centimetres in from the sideline in front of the Hogan stand. Judges it perfectly. What a point.
As good as you'll see, Marty. Brilliantly picked out by McGrath, but he's a player full of confidence. Those balls go wide 9 times out of 10, but when your hand is in and it's your ear, that's what happens. They all seem to go over.
The puck out by Donald Cusick is aimed at Patrick Cronin because of his height and physique. Here's a chance for Cork to restore. Good save, and Clinton Hennessy is there twice and blocks it out for a 65. He lived a charmed life momentarily, but the initial save was good, and the rebound was missed initially. Just watch this again. There was a chance there, hopped off the goalkeeper, and he was there again. Great save.
Yeah, not a great shot by Tom Kenny, but very good save here. The goalie got up very quickly and knocked it out for 65.
He has added great experience and stability to this Waterford defence. Came onto the championship side in 2005, did so well in his first appearance, and Justin McCarthy has huge faith in the man from Ardmore.
Yeah, there's only 12 minutes gone, Marty, but Cork 5 points down. They need to score 2 to settle them down. Waterford seems to be getting an awful room up front.
The linesman just came in just to emphasise where the 65 had to be taken. Just almost dead smack in the middle of the field. Chance for Ben O'Connor, and that goes over the bar. That's his first point in this All-Ireland quarter-final. 4 points between the teams. Clinton Hennessy made quite a reputation for himself in America. He was in Boston for about 7 years, and the word filtered through that he was really performing well in the United States. And now he's playing in Croke Park in his 3rd successive year. Nice ball inside from Michael Brick Walsh, as far as John Milan. Looking around for a little bit of support outside, not readily available. Floats it in more hope than confidence. I'm afraid that is Waterford's 3rd wide of the game. Bit of a blistering start though for the opening 12 minutes or so.
It certainly is. The breeze seems to be freshening as well, and it's with Waterford as well in the first half. That has to be taken into account as well. They're having a lot of the play.
Good work by Jimmy McCarthy. getting it in for Jerry O'Connor, who's discarded with the helmet. Good hook by James Murray. Waterford defending well. Jerry O'Connor chases after this, so too does Timmy McCarthy. Back for his hurler of the year back in 2005. Sideline ball for Cork, just inside the Waterford 45-metre line. Some lovely hooking here done by James Murray, preventing Ben O'Connor, Jerry O'Connor dropping that one in. Under 21 All-Ireland medalist back in 1998. Ben O'Connor, 22 points in 5 championship games going into this All-Ireland quarter-final. Not O'Connor's best. Easily stopped by Michael Walsh. Floats it high, over to Sean O'Halpine. Bats it down for Joe Dean. Gets inside, Owen Murphy puts it onto his favourite side, and that is gone to the left and wide for Cork's second wide of the afternoon. Still those 4 points separating the sides, which is by far and away the largest margin between the counties so far in this game. John Gardner tries to knock it down for us, Jerry O'Connor. Picked up instead by James Murray. Dan Shanahan is operating out here in front of the Hogan stand. 2 Cork players around him, Ben O'Connor and Ronan Kern. That's going to be a sideline ball for Cork. Good pressure by the Leesiders. John Gardner, since his debut in 2004, he's always played in Croke Park on All-Ireland final day. Can that record be maintained? Pulling on it there was Neil Ronan. Goes over the sideline. Advantage to Waterford, temporarily at least. James Murray placing the ball very carefully. He's played full-back as well as left half-back for his county. It's a good sideline cut. Knocked away by Dermot O'Sullivan. Pulled on by Paul Flynn into the space. Chasing after this is one John Milan. Back outside if he needs him is Tony Brown. Milan goes the more direct route, and that is going over the crossbar, I would say. Yes, it is. It's his second point. The league and Munster champions are beginning to find their rhythm. They now enjoy a 5-point advantage.
Yeah, we don't see much ground hurling in the modern game. Lovely ball by Paul Flynn there into space, and it just shows you, give Flynn, he needs that yard, get the ball in front of him and stick it over every time.
First to the ball, the motto of the Waterford players, Michael Walsh. Intercepted this time by Ronan Kern. Sends it low, long far is Patrick Cronin. Dropping this one in, but it's no danger for Cork. Cork yet to find the momentum up front. They just don't seem to be able to break down, and the quality ball going into their full forward line is not what you would expect at this level.
I agree with you, Martin. They look a bit flat all over the field, even Jerry O'Connor and Tom Kenny not up, their usual running game, and quiet all over the field, and look to be struggling to settle down.
Some statistical information for you. 3 wides for Cork, 3 wides for Waterford. All level.
He spoke too soon. Here comes Kenny.
This is more the familiar poise and style of Tom Kenny, putting himself into a scoring position and flying that over the crossbar. Man from Grilla won a Dean Ryan medal with St Finbarr's Farren Ferris in 1996. He is a player of great quality. In fact, he won a junior Munster football medal as well with the Leesiders, but really established himself over the last couple of seasons as the #1 centre fielder with Jerry O'Connor. Tuck out by Clinton Hennessy. Dermot O'Sullivan gets there first, under a little bit of pressure from John Milan. Sean O'Halpine lends assistance. Milan wins the tussle. Backfires Paul Flynn. Dropping this in for Stephen Malumphey. Manages to get the slipper but loses it. Sean O'Halpine didn't quite like the challenge from Malumphey. Milan comes in with a challenge on John Gardner, which the Cork fans don't particularly like. I don't think Brian Gavin, the referee, liked it as well, so he's going to have a word with the number 13. think it's just more of a ticking than anything else.
Yeah, that was a bad foul, but you know, the tackling of the Waterford forwards, and we saw yesterday with Kilkenny, it's a real feature of the modern game, and like so far they're not letting the Cork backs dominate at all. They're tackling like demons.
Long ball by Donald O'Cusick. Chasing after this is Aidan Carney. Ken McGrath's back there as well. Gives it a massive clearance, but just over the sideline. Possession again given to Cork. Sideline ball going to be taken probably by Sean O'Halpine. First All-Ireland senior winning captain from the Piershick. Is down at the other end, waiting for it, is Declan Prendergast and Kieran Murphy. Interesting statistical information. 52% possession for Cork, 48% for Waterford. And it's Waterford that's winning the battle. Another testing ball for Jim O'Sullivan and Dan Shanahan. Knocked down. Breaking ball, but there's nobody there for Waterford. Ronan Kern is there. Centre half back from St. Finbarr's. Down low fires Tom Kenny. Chasing after him was Jack Kennedy. Fires Sean O'Halpine. Going past midfield into Waterford territory. Uses the short grip. Floats it high and sends it straight over the bar.
That's a great score, Marty. Sorry, Dermot O'Sullivan got, you know, that's one part of his game. He's really improved under the high ball. Knocked it out, and great use of possession there. Ronan Kern through to Tom Kenny, onto Sean Ogan, a great score.
It's his second point in the championship. Scored a point on May 27th when Cork played Clare in Simple Stadium. Breaking ball favours the Waterford midfielder Michael Walsh. Dropping this one in again for Dan Shanahan and Jim O'Sullivan. Donald O'Cusick will have to come off his goal line. Was Dan Shanahan being held? He's protesting. Referee says play on. Down towards Neil Ronan. James Murray and Aidan Carney around him. Breaking ball comes out and squeezes it towards Kieran Murphy. Towards Ben O'Connor. And that's a lovely point. It's his second and his first from play. And just when you think Waterford were getting their momentum, you'd have to say the pendulum has swung back to the advantage of Cork.
Yeah, and I suppose we should know from experience that's what happens in these games. It's going to be over and back, and you won't dominate for long periods. Two great teams.
Puck out by Clinton Hennessy. Oh, fabulous catch by Shane O'Neill. Just 20 years of age. Played Fitzgibbon Cup with University College Cork as this one drops in. Joe Dean sniffing around the goals. So too, minding it is Declan Prendergast. Lays it off. Ken McGrath unable to reach that hand pass. And again, the pressure continues to mount in Waterford. Neil Ronan was anticipating a quick one, but decided against it. Good to see Ben O'Connor back in business here in Croke Park. Had a serious hip operation last December, missed most of the league, but now obviously fully fit again. Cork fans try to get behind their team. Ben O'Connor takes the sideline ball. It's a dangerous one. Inside there is Pat Cronin and Timmy McCarthy. Comes back outside for Kieran Murphy. Trying to get inside. The referee has blown his whistle, and it looks like he's going to give a free in to Cork. Good work by the Sarsfields man, former Cork All-Ireland minor. He's a star player on his way up, making his name big in the senior ranks.
Yeah, a player who's taken a year or two to settle in, got two great goals against Waterford the last day, and uses possession very well, throws the ball around. A great team player.
This free going to be taken by Joe Dean as Clinton Hennessy organises his defence. Just outside the 20-metre line. Hits back in front of the post. It's an easy tap over for the Cork captain. 4 points, about 5-6 minutes ago, has now been reduced to just one.
Yeah, and a cautious enough start. Good game, but really hasn't fully ignited yet, and you're just kind of waiting. I think they're sizing each other up. They're like the heavyweight boxers. And free in there. Bit of a nudge there by Sean Oak. He's not happy about it.
I think Seamus Prendergast himself can share the moment, but it's advantage to Waterford. Coming out to take this is going to be Owen Kelly.
I feel that breeze, Marty's picking up all the time, and Waterford have it. They want to be a few points up at half time.
All-Star 2002 in his very first season playing with Waterford. Scorer 1 goal and 9 points in the championship to date, and that's the way it's going to remain for the moment at least. A ball to the right and wide. That's 4 wides for Waterford. And that wind that Michael Dignan mentioned a moment ago is certainly picking up and is favouring on the 7th floor of the Hogan stand at least. Waterford, it mightn't quite be the same down at ground level. Sean O'Halpine. Not by a wall of Waterford jerseys. Down for Ken McGrath. Challenge is an illegal one. Referee spotting it immediately, and Ken McGrath suffering at least temporarily. Let's just watch this again as challenge from Timmy McCarthy. A nasty little one.
Yeah, it was accidental. I think if you meet Ken, you'll see he's got plenty of them, a lot of teeth missing, and you know the argument about helmets, and Ken doesn't bother with one, but he's taken a lot of knocks over the years. A tough bit of stuff, and the way he reads the game, you know, that's 3 or 4 times already he's picked up that breaking ball coming out from the full back line.
He's had a broken ankle, a broken shoulder, a broken thumb, you name it. I think Ken McGrath has had it.
And a few lads who ran into him over the years have them as well.
Ken McGrath with the free. Former All-Star 2002, 2004 at number 6, and of course also at centre half forward. Ball in for John Milan. Brian Murphy from the Cormac area of Cork. Going back under a little bit of pressure. Gathers it second time round. Sean O'Halpine there to lend a bit of support. As Cork come away with Jerry O'Connor with the helmet now re-established. Cork fans are saying that should have been a free. I don't think so. I think it's just good pressure by Waterford. John Milan seems to have picked up an injury. He sent that ball across for Dan Shanahan. Nice ball inside for Stephen Malumphey, but he just left it behind him. John Gardner sweeps up. John Milan is still down injured, by the way, as that ball comes down for his own Murphy. Joe Dean tries to hook him, sends it into the centre. But they're waiting for this Jack Kennedy. Pass across for his own Kelly. It's intercepted beautifully by Ben O'Connor. And there's a Cork player also down injured off camera as Ben O'Connor seemed to take a knock. His twin brother Jerry, I think, is the player that's down injured in front of the Cusick stand.
Yeah, he looks serious enough. He was coming out that ball, and as you say, you know, great defence by the Waterford forwards there, and great tackling. And Jerry O'Connor seems to have taken a heavy enough knock over there.
Jerry O'Connor is still getting attention as the referee waits on to make sure that the midfielder from Newtown Chandrum can continue on. Dr. Con Murphy there just leaning over him. Just seems to be a knee problem for Jerry O'Connor. I think there was a yellow card there brandished by the referee, and it could well have been Michael Brick-Walsh, but we're not too sure. As still Jerry O'Connor waits on, and Jerry McCarthy has a consultation. This is Jerry O'Connor coming away under pressure from John Milan. The referee has given the free to Cork, and Jerry O'Connor is back on his feet, ready for action. This ball sent in by Ben O'Connor, straight over the crossbar. It's his 3rd point in this All-Ireland quarter-final. I think that the yellow card was actually shown to Jack Kennedy, and surprisingly enough, it's Jack Kennedy that's making way as Owen McGrath is introduced. So a change in the Waterford lineup. Confirmation, Owen McGrath for Jack Kennedy. Normally plays in the forwards, younger brother of Ken. Tapping it forward there was Tom Kenny. Ben O'Connor, lovely little flick up. Gets the ball inside for Tom Kenny once more. Tries to put it forward. Aidan Carney not standing around for any fanciful stuff. Joe Dean battling hard, so too is Tony Brown. And that's going to be a free for Waterford. Some tenacious tackling, hard passionate but very manly sort of hurling. Neil Ronan and Ken McGrath getting involved in silly sort of stuff. The linesman is indicating off camera exactly where the ball should be positioned, and Neil Ronan was just...
I don't think a yard that far out is going to make much difference.
No, I don't think so either. The free taken by Ken McGrath. Up towards Seamus Prendergast. Batted away by Diarmuid O'Sullivan. John Milan just leaving it behind him. Brian Murphy snapping in his heels, gathers it, sends it down towards Owen Murphy and Joe Dean. Murphy of Waterford laying it back towards Ken McGrath. Half blocked down by Kieran Murphy. Neil Ronan challenging. So too is Timmy McCarthy. Picks it forward for Ben O'Connor. A wall of Waterford jerseys. Once again the sliotar was on the ground. There's a hurley flying there as well as they tussle for possession. Michael Walsh is the number 8. Referee has finally blown his whistle and he's going to give a throw ball here. Half an hour played. Waterford and Cork level as they've been so many times. Level for the 4th time in this quarter-final.
I think Cork are going to be the happier team at this stage. You know, Waterford had a few bad wides so far. Cork have taken their chances to be economical and they're really settling into the game.
Going back to vacuum this up is Sean O'Galpine. There's the different time since the last score for both Waterford and Cork. As this ball, almost 14 minutes since Waterford managed to score in this quarter-final. An interesting statistic, good information as it comes down towards Michael Brick Walsh, looking around. Maybe this attack will change that statistic dramatically. The ball dropping in towards Paul Flynn, who's moved in to top of the left. As the referee agrees with the umpire and he's giving a 65. As Paul Flynn puts it back out to probably Ken McGrath to take this. It's a long time, isn't it, Michael, for Waterford to fail to score?
Well, it is, especially, you know, lightning start, 1-4 on the board very quickly, and then, you know, really the Cork backs have got on top. Diarmuid O'Sullivan, Dan Shannon's in on top of him. That's not working out. I think Dan is better on the wing and drifting in for the ball. You know, he's still picking up a few scores from out the field. I think he's out of the play an awful lot in full forward.
Scored 3 points on the journey to this quarter-final in the championship. Has already scored 1. Make that 2. Both of them from frees. Waterford lead again. Quick puck out comes down towards Timmy McCarthy. Loses possession, however. Good tackling going on by both sides. Backfires Owen Murphy. Giving it plenty of distance, but unfortunately ran out of space. Sideline ball for Cork within their own half of the field.
Yeah, Marty, I don't know what the status with Niall McCarthy's injuries, but you'd be expecting, you know, if he's anywhere right, that he'll be coming into the thread. Timmy hasn't making much of an impact, and Ken McGrath's winning an awful lot of possession.
Yeah, I met him in the dressing room actually earlier, and I think he was hopeful himself that he might get a run sometime. But that's the decision of that man on your television screen, Gerald McCarthy. As that ball drops in towards Joe Dean. Nice skill again by Kieran Murphy, nice control, onto the left. Hits it, but again it's wide. Cork's tally of wides now 4, as indeed Waterford's tally of wides also 4, and 1 point between the teams. Waterford never really gained from the momentum that was achieved by Dan Shanahan's goal, did they, Michael?
No, they went to sleep a bit after that, and, you know, credit I suppose to the Cork backs are well on top since, but like the game's it's getting hard to get going, Marty. You know, it's a little bit dead, and it's as I said, they're very wary of each other and afraid to make mistakes, and, you know, the hurling is not as maybe off the cuff as we've seen in the Munster Championship.
It doesn't look likely that we're going to get 8 goals and 33 points in this particular quarter-final. Not like what we had back on June 17th in Thurles.
Yeah, it's an intriguing game all the same. You know, both teams are playing well within themselves at the moment, but you're waiting for someone to explode.
Owen Kelly. Along the surface comes John Milan. Hits it over his shoulder. If that goes in, it's a fabulous point, but it's wide. Increasing the tally of wides for Waterford to 5. Waterford well aware of these quick puck outs that Donald Logue employs. Gives it for Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Was that outside the 20-metre line? Referee didn't spot it. It was dodgy enough. I think it was just barely there. Ball comes down towards Kieran Murphy. Did well to gather it. Gets inside. Referee has blown his whistle and given a free to the Leesiders on the 20-metre line. Dead smack in front of the post.
That's a great catch, Marty, and we saw this with Kieran Murphy twice against Waterford the last day when he got 2 great goals. But great time in here. He's not the biggest man in the world, but that's a fantastic catch and wins a very important free for Cork.
Kieran Murphy scored 2 goals and 6 points in All-Ireland minor final back in 2001. It's a yellow card as well for Declan Prendergast, as Joe Dean takes this free to level the match again for the 5th time. Simple tap over for the man from Killa. 4 points for Joe Dean. And the sides level again. Confirmation of a yellow card for the Waterford fullback. 2 minutes of additional time to be added on in this first half. Clinton Hennessy takes the puck out. Again, aims it in the direction of the Hogan stand side. Now the shade of the upper tier now is emerging more and more onto the surface. Timmy McCarthy battling hard. With him is Owen Kelly. Back fires Dermot O'Sullivan. Great block done by Kelly. Falls back fires the rock. Comes fires Patrick Cronin. Doesn't even look where he's hitting it, but it's onto the right and wide. Cork and Waterford battle it out, and it really is a tough battle with the 35 minutes now played as we go into injury time. Level 5 times here in Croke Park. Long puck up by Clinton Hennessy. What a fabulous catch by Sean O'Halpine. And remember, the sun is in his eyes as well. Comes from as Joe Dean, trying to do a little jig around Ewan Murphy. Succeeds in doing so. Lays it off with the support available. It's in the corner. Ball sent back out for Patrick Cronin. Stephen Malumphey is back there for the Daishies. Comes from as Kieran Murphy. Quick defending by Waterford. They have possession, and away comes Owen McGrath. Leaves it behind him momentarily. Hits a fair wall of Cork lads. One of them is Kieran Murphy. Comes from as Tony Brown. Lashes it deep into Cork territory. Donald Cusick was coming off his line. John Milan comes in to challenge. Pulled on by Shane O'Neill. Goes back again. It's hard, it's tough, it's manly, it's passionate. Comes back outside. The ball dithering all over the place, but the referee has blown his whistle for a pick off the ground, I think. And that's going to be a free for Cork.
I think he's right. Yeah, Sean O'G, I have to say, Marty, this is the best game I've seen Sean O'G playing maybe in the last 2 years. He's, you'll often find that maybe when you get into your 30s, he's around a long time. It's very hard to peak for the whole season, but he's absolutely, come right for today, come to Croke Park, and he's having some game.
3 All-Ireland medals in the back pocket in Cloyne. Donald Cusick, 1999, 2004, 2005, dropping this one in. Gathered superbly by Ken McGrath. Calling by Tony Brown was to lay it off, but the referee, I think, has blown his whistle. And it's half-time in Croke Park. It's a most interesting game of hurling. It mightn't be quite the exhilarating display that we got in Simple Stadium in Thurles, but Dan Shanahan lifted the Daishies' hearts with a goal after 10 minutes. A wonderful strike that beat one of the best goalkeepers in Ireland, Donald Cusick. 5 times they've been level. Joe Dean has scored 4 times, 3 of them from frees. It's a pulsating contest, as we would expect, between Cork and Waterford as they go into the dressing rooms here underneath us in the Hogan stand. I wonder what Gerald McCarthy and Justin McCarthy will say at half-time. Who will make it to the semi-final? We'll have the analysis after the break. Do stay with us. Half-time here in Croke Park. Waterford 1-7, Cork 10 points. Don't go away. We'll be back after the break.
Back here on the Sunday Game Live, half-time break between Waterford and Cork. The sides are level. It's Waterford 1-7, Cork 10 points. Let me just give you another stat that's not on your screen there. It's the attendance here at Croke Park today, and the official attendance is 72,426, all enjoying this fascinating quarter-final, no doubt. And back here in our studio, certainly enjoying it, our Cyril Farrell and Tomas Mulcahy. Oxygen for Mulcahy, I think. How's the heart?
He's not too bad now.
Early days yet. I mean, it's probably not the classic we all expected at this stage in the game, but I mean, I'm sure it'll open up in the second half. I mean, Waterford, I suppose, after going 5 points up in that first half, will probably be the most disappointing going in a half-time on the basis that they didn't push their advantage home. They had the Cork defence maybe at 6s and 7s for a while. And
it took Cork a while to settle down, but they did.
They did, and give Cork credit. I mean, they came back and they got some great scores to get them back in the match, one or two frees. Did well from the puck outs, and like Ben O'Connor Sean O'Halpine, who's probably been questioned coming into the game, really stood up and was counted there in the first half and drove forward and got an excellent score to get him back in the match. But I suppose the crucial thing was that Dan, the man again at centre forward, I mean, they have not allowed Ronan Curran to stand in the central position where we've seen him all year, put his hand up and catch ball. Dan has taken him all over the central, all over the field, bar the centre forward position, and it worked a treat from when he ran onto a ball for a goal.
It did, and of course Dan got the goal, he got a point to follow up when then, like people are saying, would lads like this to level in Croke Park? He's only fit in the first half
anyway. It's a long clearance here now. Dan has travelled in from centre forward, he's gone looking run here from way outside, gets it on the break here, up on the favourite left side and bang. Now Donald, if there's a great shot, Donald will be disappointed. Oh yeah, it's a great, he comes running for 20 or 30 yards off screen as Johnson here, gets it onto his favourite side, just come onto it here, flicks it up here, left-handed. Now that usually Donald gets, which is a great shot, and it stretches, you know, like things are happening. You'd imagine Waterford went to a flow at this stage, and they did, they went 5 up, but then they went kind of quiet. Again, you're going to see here, he gets a beautiful point here, like, you know, again, this is a lovely ball out to him here, without looking, bang, straight over there. He's 45, 50 yards out, on the left or right.
That's what I'm saying, and look, there's his marker Ronan Curran, right, taken from the central position, right out to the wing, where they know maybe that they can actually get scores off of him.
Ball up to Moss, because Ken McGrath meant the ball to go out there, just didn't flash it up. But after that, then Cork took over, and I'd say now, of the managers, I'd say Jordan is happier than Justin.
You see, the thing about it is, like for me in a match like that, if things are going a bit against you, you need lads to step up to it. You need somebody to take the responsibility. In fairness, like 3 points came from Cork there. Sean Og, Tom Kenny got a point, Ben O'Connor. These are crucial points to bring Cork into it.
Well, Croke Park is made for leaders, and like this guy over the years has kind of loved the surface out here. I mean, he loves the open space, and again, it's a big run through the centre and great touch off the left hand. And I mean, like he went through there in the first half period as well, and it was a goal scoring chance was created out as well. I mean, he just loves the open space. He has the speed, he has the hurling ability, and it was a great score. Yeah. And again, like this is a good touch again here. Ball out to Sean Og and burst the speed again, and like that's more of Sean Og that people like to see as the burst forward and showing a bit of hunger and a bit of freedom and a bit of hunger and desire for the game, and he certainly got a great score there. And they were 2 crucial scores to get Cork back into the match. And this is the third one that we mentioned as well. Like Kieran Murphy does well here. Out to Ben O'Connor on his own.
And Ben doing that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, give him a ball on his own, and like he rarely misses. And I mean, these 3 points were crucial for Cork, because if they allowed Waterford to get further than the 5 points ahead, it could be game done and dusted. Yeah,
Cork had a goal chance, of course, early in that first half as well.
They had, and like the Cork full forward is very small, like Dean, Murphy, and Ronan. Like Ronan, watch this now coming through here, like it's a Kenny shot, not that hard, blocked out. Now here, like Ronan does the right thing, bangs it again, but again, to be fair to Clinton Hensey, he's there to block it. It's a good run, but it isn't a great shot. But like he bats it back out, which is dangerous, and but Ronan gets a flick to it, and it's a great save. The 65, I think, went over the bar, but like Cork at this stage they're starting to come through for the middle, both Kenny and Jerry O'Connor. They did the right thing to flick it, and Kieran Murphy full forward, while you mightn't think he's doing much, he's flicking little passes to Ben O'Connor. He's been fouled 2 or 3 times, and they're straight in front of the goal. So Georgina's tapped them over. So Cork like are back in the game that after 10 minutes you think we're out of.
They are for sure. We take a break. More on Cork and Waterford right after that. Coming up here on the programme, the second half of Waterford and Cork, and that's followed by highlights from yesterday's 2 hurling quarter-finals here at Croke Park. And that it's all square between Waterford and Cork, 1-7 to 10 points at half-time. Cyril, the 2 corner forwards for Waterford started very brightly. Malumphey and, of course, John Mullane. You're always kind of wondering what kind of game would John have, but he has been a threat. Malumphey started brightly, although kind of maybe faded.
Yeah, well, he went out wing forward. That's what he's going to play as kind of a third midfielder. And to be fair to Mullane, like, you know, he brings a buzz to the crowd. Like he's on form this year, and goes across to his favourite left-hand side and has over the shoulder, has a great score. He's got 2, and he brings a good bit to the Waterford attack when he's on song. And this year, you'd have to say, to be fair to him, good days and bad days with Waterford, he's kind of putting it in and getting there. And Malumphey is the new guy on the block. Here he gets onto a ball here, puts right through and has a little flick over the bar. He's abroad, say, wing forward playing as a kind of deeper role in midfield. That's his usual position. Young guys in the cadets and Galway and go to kind of doing his hurling in UCG. But
he's been very consistent. He's been very consistent in the Munster final as well. Got very good scores in the Munster final as well, you know. So I just think maybe like Cork, from a Cork perspective, Timmy McCarthy is centre forward. I mean, he's working very, very hard on Ken McGrath. He's not allowed Ken McGrath to win any.
I think McCarthy will come on.
Ken McGrath is sweeping up and winning an awful lot of ball. And if Niall McCarthy is fit, I'm sure, give it 10 minutes, he'll be into the game, certainly.
We have a substitution on the Waterford team who's just come out here. This is Dennis, no, it's not, it's Brian Phelan that has come on the Waterford team for James Murray.
I mean, we even spoke in the first half there, Owen McGrath coming on as well for Jack Kennedy, you know, so they're very quick to respond on the sideline. Certainly, if things are not going the way Waterford, they're making the changes. But I didn't see James Murray doing anything too bad in that first half. Certainly,
that's a surprise unless maybe he got a knock or something like that. But he certainly was going okay.
You just don't know that.
You don't know that situation. Right, Tomas, how do you feel?
Tomas begin to smile a bit now, if you notice. He's getting confident.
I was always smiling.
I'm always smiling, sir. I'd be confident enough, that there is a good second half in the team, and if we could get 20 minutes out of Niall McCarthy, I think coming on he could make an impact.
Yeah, it's so hard to call at this stage.
I just had the feeling that Waterford getting very edgy. I know I have to make the substitutes, but I just had the feeling, even like Owen McGrath coming on, it's very early for him to come on the first half. It's kind of flowing Cork's way, and they have a little bit of breeze. If they take over a point to a Cork, a good edge in front at the end of the game.
Before the match, you had a fear that Waterford might even run away with it.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's still a threat inside there. I mean, if they get enough ball into Milan, Dan Shannon this side as well. I mean, there is still a serious threat there. Even though Brian Murphy has done well in Milan, Shane O'Neill has actually hurried very well at right cornerback as well. Diarmuid Sullivan has been very good. That threat is always there. Dan will turn up in and around that square again in that second half period.
What Justin does at half time is to get them out and play their own game. They wouldn't want to start worrying about what's happening to Cork. Get out and play their own natural game, because if they start questioning themselves, they could start doing daft things. That is the big kind of question mark over Waterford the whole time.
The band-aid for John Milan there. A bit of a tap, obviously, and that first step. I suppose that's exactly it. Like Justin McCarthy would surely be saying to these Waterford lads, let's refocus here now.
Back to hurling we've done all year. We're good enough behind these teams. Go play your own game, it'll come right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the reality in Munster final there. I mean there was like 8 minutes to go with Limerick. There was still neck and neck. So it was only after that the actual game exploded and the freedom came for Waterford. So they'll be happy enough that it's level as well. They're keeping it tight. Cork are not pushing ahead. And they know they will create those chances in the second half.
It's a sprint for the tape at this stage. Back again to the commentary team here at Croke Park, and that's Marty Morrissey and Michael Duignan.
Thanks a million, Michael. Welcome back to the second half. As you mentioned, Brian Phelan is on. He was left half back on the Waterford team that won the Munster Championship in 2004. Surprising to see and hear that James Murray has been replaced. He certainly seemed to be playing quite well in that opening 37 minutes of action. 5 times they were level in that period. I wonder what will it be in 35 minutes' time. Here's John Milan. John Milan, Seamus Prendergast and Paul Flynn, by the way, now make up the full forward line. And here's Flynn. There's a chance of a goal. He drives it in! We have a match on now in Croke Park. It's do or die. It's goodbye to the championship for whatever side loses. It's a simple goal. The defending by Cork was poor, but the striking by Paul Flynn was absolutely superb, giving goalkeeper Donald Cusick no chance.
Well, that's what makes him so dangerous. He never touched the ball in the first half. First ball, he never loses confidence. And I was surprised, when he got the ball, nobody closed him down, and especially him. He's not going to settle for an easy point. He'll take his goal any time when it's on.
Poor enough marking though by Cork, wasn't it, Michael?
Very poor marking. Now, we saw it yesterday with Eddie Brennan ghosting in behind, and Milan did well there. He took a heavy knock but still managed to get the ball away, and Flynn found himself in acres of space, and he's the run man, like all those Waterford forwards. He won't miss from there.
Man that made his debut against Limerick in the Munster Championship in 2001, John Milan, now 26 years of age, as the puck out by Donald Cusick comes down towards Pat Cronin. Leaving it behind and sweeping it up is Tony Brown. Down towards John Milan. Knocked away by left corner back Brian Murphy in his 4th championship season with the Leesiders. It's a brilliant start by Waterford, but indeed Justin McCarthy and his boys got a great start with Dan Shanahan's goal after 10 minutes. Can they now maintain that momentum? Because they certainly seem to drop a gear after that. This is going to be taken by Owen Kelly. John Milan gets a touch to it. Stephen Malumphey has added quite an amount of pace and physique to the team since he made his championship debut. First year really establishing himself on the team, as John Gardner is fouled, and that's going to be a free for Cork. Not a good start for Gerald McCarthy, and I'm sure he's greatly concerned about it. He won under 21 on All-Ireland medals in 1966 and had the unique distinction of captaining those teams. He's 9 Munster medals back in his home in Cork City as this ball dropped in. Dangerous enough ball. Wonderfully caught, however, by Ken McGrath. Lays it out for his Aidan Carney from Tallow. Ex-St. Coleman's College Fermoy. It's a good ball into the space where Dan Shanahan is available. Whips this ball onto the hurley and strikes it over the crossbar. A goal and 2 points from play for Dan Shanahan.
Yeah, and it makes it look so easy. You know, again, Marty could have headed for the goal there. There was loads of space inside him. Lovely score, made it look easy. But, you know, poor start by Cork again, and Waterford are finding an awful lot of room up front. Very same as the first half.
Sideline ball for Cork. Waterford player was the last to touch it. Going to be taken by Sean O'Halpine. Great atmosphere in Croke Park as O'Halpine drops this in again. Outside the Waterford 20-metre line, Declan Prendergast from Ardmore. Good ball into space, Owen McGrath chasing after it. Keeping him away from the goals is John Gardner, but it's sliced off the Hurley. Sideline ball for Cork. As Michael mentioned during our half-time analysis, 72,426 people packed in here into Croke Park this afternoon and thoroughly enjoying the entertainment. Indeed, the wonderful display of both Clare, Limerick, Cork and now Waterford. Owen McGrath works hard, loses possession however under intense pressure. Sean O'Halpine is available for Jerry O'Connor. Tries to set it up for the Napirsig man. Gets it onto his left, drops it in. Clinton Hennessy is backpedaling. He's wearing the cap, but you can see it's difficult for goalkeepers down at that Hill 16 end. Chasing after this is Brian Phelan, who's taken up position there at left half back. It's going to be a sideline ball for Cork. Ben O'Connor has 3 points to his credit at the moment. Going to drop this in around the house. Trailing by 4 points. Level at half-time, remember. 5 minutes into the second half. Nice ball. Clinton Hennessy, good goalkeeping, good hands. Lays it off first, Ken McGrath. Good solid goalkeeping was part of the equation that was missing for Waterford for many years. Here's left corner back Brian Murphy, floating another one of these high dropping balls. In underneath it is Pat Cronin. It's there for Cork, it's there for Waterford as well. And it's Waterford to come away with it. To the stick work of Owen Murphy. Takes a little bit too much out of it. Joe Dean is battling there. So too is Kieran Murphy, who comes out to the 40 to gather. Gets inside, lays it off. Nice ball inside. Fires Neil Ronan. Backfires Murphy. Nice 1-2. Getting inside the cover. He's inside the large rectangle. That is a penalty. Brilliant work by Kieran Murphy and Neil Ronan. They worked the 1-2 beautifully, causing problems for Waterford. Murphy was suffering on the ground. But this was a joy to watch from a Cork fan's point of view, I'm sure. Nice combination play. No doubt that had to be a penalty.
High tackle. And this is what makes Cork so dangerous. You know, I think Justin McCarthy has often talked about the goal last year, that they got it too early, you know, and Cork had loads of time to come back, and it's the very same situation here. Goal straight away, but Cork half an hour to go, very experienced team, and they won't panic.
Ken McGrath has been shown a yellow card for that challenge on Kieran Murphy when the Daishies were exposed thanks to that wonderful play by 13 and 14 on the Cork side, Neil Ronan and Kieran Murphy.
Interesting, Martin. Neil Ronan appears to be taken. I thought Dermot Sully, you know, they don't really have a forward that takes the penalties. I thought Sully would be man, but obviously Neil Ronan is taking this one.
Vital moment in this All-Ireland quarter-final. Neil Ronan hitting it into the back of the Waterford net. 1 point between the teams. Cork have this wonderful belief in themselves. It's a tradition. It's a self-belief, it's skill. And Neil Ronan from Ballyea in North Cork rejoices, and rightly so, as he crashes that past Clinton Hennessy. Just when you think Waterford are gaining control, Cork can snap at their heels and come back. The ball was a late challenge, or the free being given as a late challenge on the Cork man, or by the Cork man. Brian Gavin, I think, wants to have a word with the Cork defender. That happens to be Dermot O'Sullivan, who's pleading his innocence, and so too are all his colleagues. And Brian Gavin from Clara noticed the foul, and he's going to put his name into the book, and this could well be a yellow card for the number 3. The Rock is in the black book, and he's on the yellow card. Owen Kelly to stretch Waterford's lead again. On the 20-metre line, just a few centimetres outside it. Referee Brian Gavin has gone into his umpires down at that end. His dad, Michael Gavin, and PJ Lawler are down there doing the umpire duties for Brian. And obviously something happened, and it's going to be a free in for Waterford from this position. A little bit of confusion, actually. Brian Gavin explaining to the Cork players he wants Paul Flynn outside the small rectangle. He's gone out over the end line. And he's now telling Paul Flynn to get outside the 20-metre line. Here's Owen Kelly. And after all of that messing about, it's a simple tap over. Not too sure what all that was about, actually.
No, not really, no. I know the free, Dermot Sutton pulled a bit of a stroke first of all on the ball, and then he chopped down on Prendergast. I don't know what all the...
Well, Niall McCarthy is being introduced. He is the first choice centre-half forward. He shakes hands with his namesake, Timmy McCarthy, who makes way, and he goes into Mark Ken McGrath. They have been great rivals over the last couple of years. Neil McCarthy broke his metatarsal bone in his foot in that Munster Championship match against Waterford, and this is his first Championship appearance since that time. Ball inside, tries Paul Flynn. Loses possession, seemed to get a knock. More accidental than anything else. Beautiful catch by Ken McGrath. Giving the ball out as Tony Brown as Waterford go in search of more scores, dropping this one in. Backs and forwards going up for it, knocked away by Dermot O'Sullivan. Stephen Malumphry trying to get there first, knocks it back just swiftly for his own McGrath. Fires Brian Phelan, the substitute at half-time, has a shot, and that is to the right and wide. First wide of the second half for Waterford, 6 in total. Donald Cusick wants to take the puck out quickly. Gets it for as Jerry O'Connor. Bypasses Owen Kelly. This is more like Cork and more like Jerry O'Connor. Lays it off for as Niall McCarthy getting his first touch. Tom Kenny is available. Uses Sean O'Halpine instead. Controls it well. Going for his second point in the quarter-final.
What a game he's having, Marty. The first point in the first half off his left hand, that off his right hand, and Brian Phelan had an easier chance there for Waterford, sent it wide, but Sean O shown great leadership today, and you can see what it means to him.
Great score by Sean O'Halpine, controlled it well, knew what he was doing once he got the pass. I see Cian O'Connor is warming up along the sideline. Now Cian played fullback in that Munster Championship game against Waterford in Semple Stadium. Normally plays as a defender, so Cork perhaps anticipating a change or thinking about one. Here's Neil Ronan dropping this one in, but it's nobody's ball in there, I'm afraid. Bad wide, you know, should be treading that in front of Joe Dean. And Joe's getting very little possession today, but Owen McGrath is doing very well in the middle of the field, and Michael Walsh, you know, they're subduing the Cork midfield a good bit, and Owen McGrath is that type of player. He's full of energy and he's covering a lot of ground out there. Long puck out by Clinton Hennessy, down towards Dan Shanahan, picked up by Seamus Prendergast. Some statistics information there. Puck outs won 17 all from both Waterford and Cork. It's that tight, no matter what information that we throw at you at home or wherever you're watching this game. It is so tight between Cork and Waterford. Wides, puck outs won, and indeed our head-to-head as well is fairly close at the moment, as this is going to be taken by Owen Kelly just inside the Cork 45-metre line. Another free for Kelly and another point for him, his second of the afternoon.
And Dermot O'Sullivan's given away those two frees, you know, and they're the first two they've scored. Up to that they've been very disciplined, but Dermot want to watch it now. He's on a yellow card already.
Puck out by Donald Cusick, picked up by Tom Kenny, floating this one into Joe Dean, who wasn't quite anticipating that the ball would come that side of him. Getting there first is Owen Murphy. Tries Tony Brown, delivers it into the middle where the captain of Waterford is there, bypasses him, comes far as Ben O'Connor. Oh, lovely stick work by O'Connor. Controls it well, gets it inside for Pat Cronin. On the overlap is John Gardner, loses possession, goes back. Niall McCarthy is there too, so too is Kieran Murphy. Coming across is Jerry O'Connor. Niall McCarthy to his right, Jerry O'Connor puts it onto his left and smacks it over the bar for his first point in this quarter-final. Good play by Cork, good control play by the Leesiders.
Yeah, lovely bit of skill. I think Waterford were going to Ben O'Connor, lovely skill, nothing on, took it back, you know, hint of Shefflin there. I think Cork, you know, are going to be happier here. Waterford haven't built an either goal, and here's Paul Flynn.
Down at the other end, it's Paul Flynn, giving him a personal tally of a goal and a point.
Yeah, he's deadly accurate. But Marty, just to finish that point, I think, here's Flynn again, 2 touches of the ball, 1-1, you know, he's a deadly forward. But I think that Waterford, you know, they've got 2 goals, gotten 3 or 4 points up, and Cork have come back at them, and Cork are going to be happier, and they're still struggling to find a rhythm, but they are beginning to build.
Puck out by Donald O'Cusick. 2 points between the teams, 2-11 to 1-12, 17 points to 15 if you wanted in the other way. This is Patrick Cronin trying to get inside Stephen Malumphey. Cronin, back pass Jerry O'Connor, the linesman gets in the way, but it's O'Connor that picks it up, gets by Malumphey. Brought to ground by the corner forward from Ballyduff upper, and that's a free in for Cork, and Waterford cannot afford to give away frees like this. And once more, it's Joe Dean that comes across. 12 years in fact playing with Cork at the highest level. Dean with the free. It's tailing to the right. Nobody can get a connection. It's knocked in forward. There's a breaking ball there and swept away by Ken McGrath ahead of Niall McCarthy. Danger again for Cork or for Waterford. Cut out this time by Owen Murphy. Swept down over to the far side. John Gardner first to the ball. Protects his hands with the hurley. Grabs the sliotar with the other. Knocked away for a sideline ball off the stick of Dan Shanahan. First All-Star was won last year by John Gardner. Gains a few metres down that sideline in front of the Cusick stand. This time I have a feeling it could well be Ben or Jerry O'Connor that might take this. Joe Dean is waiting at the edge of the square. With him, keeping him company, is Owen Murphy. Going to be taken by Ben O'Connor. Inside the Waterford 45. Not one of his best either. Brian Phelan battling. Stalemate there. Possession between Waterford and Cork. There's more interesting information. 50% each. Split down the middle. Comes far Stephen Malumphey. Given a bit of space. Throws back the shoulders and gives it law. It's 3 against 3 up here. And the defenders keep the forwards out. Seamus Prendergast battling hard. Paul Flynn is there. Ball is on the ground. Is it picked off the ground? The Cork players are saying he was lying on it. That's Seamus Prendergast. And I think that's going to be just a simple throw ball on the 20-metre line. Tension around Croke Park. As that ball is thrown back and thrown in for Dermot O'Sullivan. Comes for his own Kelly. And Kelly sends it over the bar for his first point from play. It's 2-12 Waterford, 1-12 Cork. Dermot O'Sullivan will be disappointed that he didn't fully deliver this ball down into the other half of the field. But any mistake is punished, and it means a lot to Owen Kelly. Puck out by Donald O'Cusick. Comes down past Patrick Cronin. Tries to make an angle for himself. Uses a short grip and floats it in high. Joe Dean is underneath it. So too is Kieran Murphy. Big catch! And that's over the bar by Neil Ronan. A goal and 2 points. And you can see why Gerald McCarthy put him into the team for the start. He's obviously a man in form. He's producing it in training. That's a great catch, great turn, good score.
Yeah, and Pat Cronin coming into the game more and more. You see Cork using him for the puck out. That's a problem they've had over the last few years, but he's, you know, won the last 2 or 3 balls that have come down his wing, and, you know, Tony Brown and Ken McGrath were dominating up till then.
John Gardner puts up that big left hand. Hard to imagine he's just 23 years of age. He seems to have been around for so long. Wonderful hurler. Gets it down past the corner forwards. Battling there on his knees is Neil Ronan. With him is Aidan Carney. Referee again is going to give a throw ball here. Corkman's still down injured, just there behind Brian Gavin.
Martin, just the last 5 minutes I've noticed Waterford have withdrawn their half forward and right out the field, out past halfway, and there's acres of space inside, you know, and that's what they're masters at that, you know, kind of drifting out the field and bringing their men out, and, you know, any ball into the square with Pendergast is winning plenty of possession, it's going to be dangerous. You could see more goals coming.
Interesting contest here between our head-to-head. Dan Shanahan with a goal and 2. Kieran Murphy is yet to score as the throw ball is put in, and it comes back past Tony Brown. He has the support of Ken McGrath, he needs him, but it's Brown, determined to get into that All-Ireland hurling semi-final of 2007. Drops it in long towards John Milan, picked up by Seamus Prendergast, who's moved into the edge of the square to take up duty against Diarmuid O'Sullivan. John Milan again, Paul Flynn knocked away from him by Shane O'Neill. Comes back outside, Tom Kenny, was he fouled? The referee says yes. Free out to Cork, just outside their own half of the field, or outside their own 45 to be more precise. It's very tense, it's very tight. There was a clear jersey pull there, pulling the dogs. Had to be a free for Tom Kenny. Going to be taken by John Gardner. Good footballer as well with Napiershik. Didn't quite get the distance he required into this. Picked up by Brian Phelan. Tries to lay it back. Succeeds in doing so. Gets it far as Declan Prendergast. Lays it far as Stephen Malumphik. Drives it long before the challenge arrives. Donald Cusick is underneath it, and Seamus Prendergast is as well. And that's going to be a puck out for Donald.
If you do it up, Seamus Prendergast run into you like that. He's not wrong, he was entitled to go for the ball.
2 points between the teams. The biggest margin between the counties in this particular game, 5 points. Waterford enjoyed that advantage in the first half. Pulled on by Dan Shanahan into the space. Coming across is Brian Murphy. So too is Seamus Prendergast. Murphy tries to knock it back first. Diarmuid O'Sullivan picked up instead by John Milan. Tries to get inside Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Thou shalt not pass. The 11th commandment of the Rock. Comes back out for Sean O'Halpine. Comes away with it. There's plenty of space. Tom Kenny is saying, keep going, Sean O. He drives it along in towards Neil Ronan. Knocking it forward is Aidan Carney. Picked up by Kieran Murphy. Tries to get inside the cover. Has to go back. Players queuing up. One of them is Neil Ronan. Aidan Carney stops him again. Neil Ronan goes to ground. Waterford says he was looking for the fray. Cork, however, will say that this man was fouled. And let's look at the replay here as the Ballier man tried to get through Aidan Carney and Brian Phelan. Was that a free?
Yeah, I think, the Waterford just tend to tackle a bit high. There was no danger. All they do is hold the ground, but they're bringing that arm up around the neck, and the ref hasn't much choice when they're pulling up around the head. It's always going to be a free in.
Joe Dean has scored 4 times in this quarter-final. The Ardmore man between the posts, organising his defence. This to reduce Waterford's lead to just 1 point, with almost 56 minutes played. Dean, high and over the bar. 5 points for Joe. 114 for Cork. Waterford maintain that 1 point advantage. Cork are warming up. Kevin Hartnett now along the sideline. Played left half back and did very well, in fact. Sean O'Halpine pushing Waterford players out of the way fairly and squarely. Gets it back for as Brian Murphy. Gives it long. What a fantastic catch by Ken McGrath. Going backwards, put his hand up into the air and came down with the slither like evil stick glued to it. Coming through the centre of its own Kellen. Goes past the 65, has to use the short grip. Floats it in, but it's gone to the right and wide for Waterford's 8 points of this quarter-final. The puck out is quickly taken. Down far as Jerry O'Connor, but the referee won't allow that puck out. And back it goes again. But just watch this. This is well worth watching as Ken McGrath went up into the clouds and grabbed that slither. Great play.
We nearly take it for granted now, Marty. He does it so often. He's having another outstanding game today.
Cork are introducing Kevin Hartnett, and the player that's going to be making way is Jerry O'Connor. So Kevin comes on from Russell Rovers, in the Shanagari area in East Cork. Good young hurler. Referee says that Michael Walsh was fouled, and that's a free for Waterford. If Ken McGrath can do it, so too can the Waterford captain.
And I think that's a big call by Jerry McCarthy. Marty, Jerry O'Connor, a very, very good player. He's capable of scoring 2 or 3 points late in the game, and I certainly wouldn't be taking him off if I had him.
Hurler of the year 2005, taken off by the Cork manager. He wasn't doing that badly at all, actually, Michael.
Playing on Brick Walsh, one of the top players, very 50-50, both of them doing doing well, you know, but you're not going to get it all your own way against Brick. But the first ball, of course, he catches over Kevin Hart and there when he came on as well.
Well, to be fair, he may well be injured, but it didn't look it from this particular vantage point. Sideline ball for Cork, far side. And John Gardner again going to take responsibility.
Cork aren't really in the game, Marty. They're only a point down. They're just plugging away, and Waterford haven't put them away, and they could pay the price. Now 10 minutes to go. It's going to be a nail-biting finish.
Ball sent in. Good play, however. Once again by Ken McGrath. Flick forward by Brian Felix. Stephen Malumphey sends it forward. Good ball in past Paul Flynn. Keeping him goal side is Shane O'Neill. But Flynn has the stamina and the ability to get inside the cover and lash it over the bar. A goal and 2 points for Paul Flynn. A good day's work by any wing forward in the business.
Yeah, all in the second half. He's having a great second half. And, you know, the turn of pace, Marty, I saw down in Thurles, he got the ball about 60 or 70 yards out and headed for the goals. And I said to myself, where's he going? But he's shown, he looks very, very fit and, you know, lean and is in good shape. And 1-2 in the second half, great return.
Some hard pulling over the far side. There helping out his defence is Owen McGrath, who once played a National Hurling League final at cornerback. It was a short-lived career because he's far better up on the forwards around midfield. Donald O'Cusick lofts it high. He had to. He was under pressure. Coming down here is John Gardner. Picked up by Seamus Prendergast. Floats it in again. It's 2 against 2. Sean O'Halpine tries to get away from Owen Kelly. Has to turn. Donald O'Cusick comes out from his goal to lend assistance. Down first Tom Kenny. Intercepted well by Michael Walsh. Stradbally, former Footballer of the Year on Waterford, sending this in high. He was told to send it in over the crossbar, but I'm afraid just to the wrong side of the goalpost. Waterford increased their tally now to double scores. That's 10 wides for Waterford here in Croke Park today. We've reached the 60th minute of the game. 10-6 in terms of wides. 213 to 114 in terms of scores. That ball dropped in. Aidan Carney. Niall Ronan coming through. This is a chance for Kieran Murphy. He never misses! Kieran Murphy from Sarsfields. 23 years of age. He scored 4 goals and 5 points in 4 championship games. He got inside the cover here thanks to the hard work of Neil Ronan. Murphy comes through and all you can do is take it out of the net.
That was great improvisation. What a finish, you know. But Marty, that's what I was saying there a few minutes ago. Waterford have left Cork in the game, and you know, you can't do that. A great point by Seamus Prendergast. You know, it's all square now, 10 minutes to go. But Neil Ronan there, we will see it again. Brilliant. He got up off the ground like a flash, little flick up, and Kieran Murphy through for a goal. What a finish we're set up for now.
Well, what a response by Waterford as well. Seamus Prendergast level for the 6th time, and the first time in the second half. As that ball is sent in, but it's well wide. 11 wides off the stick this time of Ken McGrath, who's done almost nothing wrong. But what improvisation by Kieran Murphy. The grip, the way he held the hurley, he knew he was going to be hooked. Very, very skillful, very talented. And it's Waterford that have the possession once more. The Munster champions, the league champions. Level 6 times, as I mentioned earlier. It's an intriguing contest. But remember, Waterford won the league. They won the Munster Championship. Cork have been beaten twice, once by the opposition today and also by Tipperary in a qualifier in Thurles. And is it possible that Cork, despite being beaten twice, could go through to an All-Ireland semi-final? It would be heartbreaking for Waterford. But what drama. If you're a scriptwriter, well then this is the story to be told. We don't know the answers with just about 8 minutes left. This is going to be taken by Ken McGrath. Dropping it in. To the right. Nobody can get a touch to it. It's wide.
Yeah, that's 2 wides in a row now by Ken. What's that, 12 wides by Waterford today? You know, it's a lot of wides and they've had their chances. And I just be concerned that Cork really haven't got going, and yet they're level with 8 minutes to go. And you know, if you leave them in the game long enough, they're just punishing. That's why they've won all the All-Irelands they've won.
Scoring chances, 16 out of 29 for Waterford, 16 out of 24 for Cork. Here comes Owen Kelly, floating this one in very high. But it's again wrong side. And inside around the square, Dan Shanahan is telling his own first cousin, will you please let the ball in to me? And I suppose you can do that when it is your first cousin. Puck out, going to be taken by Donal O'Cusick. Back up into the blue skies and glorious sunshine. In it drops. Patrick Cronin goes up for it. Gathered by Niall McCarthy. Lays it off. Where's John Gardner? Hits it. Straight over the Waterford crossbar. It's Gardner's first point in the championship of 2007. And look at that scoreboard on top of your screen there, left corner. It's Cork 2-15, Waterford 2-14. The Leesiders lead by 1. What about this for a Guinness Hurling Championship? Who would have expected Tipperary to lose to Wexford after Wexford got a hammering from Kilkenny in the Leinster final? Maybe not quite as big a surprise as Cork possibly beating Waterford here.
Yeah, who thought Tip would beat Cork? Hurlers can be unpredictable. Marty, 5 times from the Cork half-back line midfield from play. Waterford, the same region, no score from the midfielders or from the half-back line. And that's a great return from that area of the field for Cork.
Gerald McCarthy, following in the footsteps of great people like Donal O'Grady. This ball drops down, and John Allen, and that ball is gone wide.
It's a square ball.
Square ball, actually, sorry.
Good quick call there by Brian Gavin again. No, in fairness, doing a good job keeping the game moving and pulling for the frees when he has to.
Clinton Hennessy with the free. Pumps it into the space. 2 Waterford players available. One of them is Dan Shanahan. Floats this one in. Oh, that's a great point. It's not the first time he's done it in a game, and not the first time he's done it in this game. He's out just centimetres in from the sideline, this time at the Cusick stand end, and he puts it over the bar. That's a goal and 3 points for Dan the man.
Yeah, with the year he's having, Marty, he wants to get to an Ireland semi-final. He wants an Ireland medal, and they have 5 minutes now to do it, to kick on.
Level for the 7th time in Croke Park. With just over 5 minutes left. Coming through, the centre is Tom Kenny. He has to beat Clinton Hennessy. Hennessy stands his ground, but it's a goal for Cork. Neil Ronan. Is that it for the Leesiders? Is it the end of the road for Waterford? Tom Kenny coming through here. A great save by Clinton Hennessy. The rebound comes out to the number 13, and Ronan sneaks in for a winning goal, perhaps.
And what a game he's having, 1-2 as well. You know, great performances all over the field.
Down for us, Joe Dean. Trying to get inside the cover. Floats it in. That's a good ball. There's a chance of a point here, which is taken superbly by Kevin Hartnett. And suddenly, it's advantage Cork with just less than 5 minutes to go. Fabulous catch by Sean O'Gahal-Payne. They're plucking them out of the skies and they're belting them down into the Waterford full back line. Going back is Aidan Carney. Available in the middle is Michael Walsh. John Milan is out there. Goes off the Cork man's hurling. Sideline ball for Waterford. It's a real test for the Daishies. Probably the biggest they've experienced over the last couple of seasons. They've got to respond to the challenge posed by the men from Cork. Time ticking away. Owen McGrath puts this in. Gone back to help out is Niall McCarthy. He's the centre half forward, remember. Crossing his way forward is Ben O'Connor. These lads have won All Irelands, but they look like 17-year-olds at the moment, just running all over the pitch. Joe Dean, boosted by the confidence by that Neil Ronan goal, knocked away by the Waterford man. That's going to be a sideline ball for Cork. Linesman Dickie Murphy, referee yesterday, of course, in the other quarter-final between Galway and Kilkenny. And Gerald McCarthy rightly will be telling everybody to keep calm now. Don't rush anything, because with a 4-point advantage, it's certainly in their best interest. Has it slipped away for Justin McCarthy and for Waterford? After an incredible season, winning the National Hurling League, winning the Munster Championship, is Donal Logue and Diarmuid O'Sullivan heading for another All-Ireland semi-final? This is going to be taken by Ben O'Connor. Cutting this in, it's a dangerous ball. Clinton Hennessy calls for it, he drops it, comes out far as Owen Murphy. Blocked by Joe Dean. Puck out for Waterford. 2.5 minutes left approximately, even less. They're 4 points down. Can Justin McCarthy make a switch that would make a difference at this stage? The puck out is a long one. Waterford need possession. John Milan tries to come away with it. Stopped in the tracks by Brian Murphy. Comes out towards the midfield area. Where they're waiting for it is Tony Brown. Dropping this one in. They need a goal. They need Big Dan. Breaks outside. Fires Paul Flynn. He can score goals. Hits a shot. Oh, what a save. What a save. What a goal. Stephen Malumphey. Incredible. Waterford are back. But what a magnificent save by Donald Cusick. But what a strike by Paul Flynn. But watch, Stephen Malumphey, he was there to tap it home. Was he in the square? That's the question.
Don't think so, Martin. I think he came in after the shot. Beautiful sidestep by Flynn, a rocket of a shot. And, you know, we often say a draw is a fair result. I don't think Waterford deserved to lose today. You know, they really had plenty of chances, didn't put Cork away.
Waterford are thinking about introducing a substitute. This is going to be delay matters, but Waterford will want to get that ball in. They've just about a minute left to try and get an equaliser. There will be additional time, but not much. They need possession, and who has it but a Waterford man? Backfires Tony Brown. Only gets it as far as Kevin Hartnett. Needs to deliver it long into space. Two Waterford players go up for it. One of them is McGrath. Can they get an equaliser and force this All-Ireland quarter-final to a replay? The drama is tangible. The tension is unbearable.
Paul Flynn 1-2, Malumphey 1-2, Shanahan 1-3, Neil Ronan 2-2. Great performances all over the field.
Ken McGrath facing the breeze and the sun. He drops it. He's swinging to the right. They need to keep it in. Dan Shanahan fails to touch it. 1 minute of additional time to be added on. And we're about, 15 seconds from full time. A minute and 10 seconds for Waterford to stay in the championship of 2007. A draw probably would be a fair result, but these people can hardly look. It's a pulsating, incredible contest. And it's Waterford that have possession. Here's the Waterford captain, Michael Walsh, floating it into the space. Waterford have it once more. They have to try and work a free or else drop it in. The block down comes from Kevin Hartnett. Owen McGrath is there for Waterford. They're in the middle of the field. Here it comes in long. Here's Owen McGrath inside. There's a chance here for Waterford. He has to go inside. He's inside the cover. He's going to goal. Blocked down. Comes out Dan Shanahan again. Blocked again on the goal line. Donald Cusick is there. And the referee, what's he going to do here? He's indicating that there's a free, but who's it for?
Well, if he picked it off the ground, it's going to be a free in. We can't see from here. He was just why didn't Owen McGrath tip it over the bar? You know, point in it. Did brilliantly, and a great save by Donald Lowe. What a save.
That's two fantastic saves. And again.
What happened here now? He leaned over the ball. I think it's going to be a throw in. Like that's technically it's a free if you lie in the ball, but most referees throw in the ball when you know it happens 3 or 4 times.
Donald Cusick, I think, Michael, that interrupting was incensed. I have a funny feeling it could well be a throw ball or it could well be a free. But Sean Oak, as you can see, is giving him a tap on the back, and in fact he is giving a free in. This to equalise. But I've never quite seen an end to a game like this, because Owen McGrath, it was such courage really to go for goal, and maybe
the easy thing was to take the point.
Absolutely.
He would have been a hero if he scored.
Here it is, over the bar, sides level. And to be fair, neither Waterford nor Cork deserve to lose this game. It might be a cliche, but honestly, it really is quite true.
Certainly Waterford, you know, they'd be kicking themselves forever with all the wides they had, and they didn't put Cork away.
Brian Gavin, the referee from Clara, blows the full-time whistle. 72,426 people, and I can promise you at this moment, nobody has left the ground. Donald Cusick and the Cork players are protesting over that final decision that gave the free to Waterford, and Gerald McCarthy is incensed as well. Photographs being taken for tomorrow's newspapers, and Gerald McCarthy is a very calm and timid man, indeed a gentleman, and it's seldom I've ever seen him lose his cool. He congratulates sportingly Dan Shanahan, but to be fair, from a neutral perspective, no team really deserved to lose this game.
Yeah, it's a pity it ended in that controversy. You know, you'd see it during the game 4 or 5 times. You know, a player falls over a ball and the refs normally throw it in. In that situation, technically it is a free if you fall over the ball in my book, but a very, you know, a big call at the end of a game, and Cork are mad about it, but at the end of the day I think a draw is fair.
The full-time score here in Croke Park. Waterford 3 goals and 16 points. Cork 3-16. Let's go down to the sideline for some post-match reaction and join our sideline reporter, Joanne Cantwell.
Thanks, Marty. I'm with Justin McCarthy of Waterford here. Justin, how relieved are you?
Well, for a while there I thought it was gone, but it was great fight in the team. And all the, we came good in all the games at the very end, and just kind of hopeful all the way we conjured a goal, and we kept going, and scores came, and another day out.
What did you think when Owen McGrath went for a goal there at the end?
Yeah, well, it was, I have to take the chance too. I don't mind that. I mean, the opportunity is always there. But it's great to have a draw, and I think we needed a game like that.
It wasn't the smoothest of performance from Waterford this season, sure wasn't?
No, well, I suppose you play as well as you left play sometimes, and we knew it was going to be a tough game. There was going to be much in it, and it was a case of hanging in there and battling on all the time. And I think we can up our performance next day.
Each time you got a goal, though, you threatened to pull away, but they just wouldn't let you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the nature of Waterford and Cork the last few years. One team is not going to give in to the other, so it was a case of just hanging in there and seeing if the opportunity came maybe for a break.
But as you say, you think you can improve a lot from today,
I think we can improve an awful lot.
Is there anywhere in particular that you feel that you need to improve?
Well, I won't be telling you that now in fairness, but there are areas that we'll have to look at, that we'll have to smarten up a small bit.
OK, we'll have to wait and see. Justin, thanks very much and well done today. Let's go back to Michael.
Thank you.
Yeah, Justin McCarthy, the Waterford manager there at the end of what was truly an epic struggle. Both sides, I have to say, probably hanging on in the end for that draw. Cyril Farrell and Tomás McCahey with me here in studio. Tomás, I suppose to get the Cork reaction from yourself first. It was really heart-stopping stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that. What did you?
Stuff. I enjoyed it, Michael. I mean, from look. We take the colours off. I mean, from a game of hurling, 7 to 10 points a half-time draw match. Look at the second half that's there. I mean, the scoring, 3-16 apiece. I mean, it was fantastic stuff. Great entertainment. Credit to both teams. I mean, Waterford, I suppose, will look at themselves. They missed an awful lot of chances in the second half. They had a lot of wides.
Let's go down to the sideline. Gerald McCarthy, the Cork manager, is talking to Joanne.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Well, Gerald, how are you feeling? A bit disappointed?
Very disappointed with the closing episode there, really, quite honestly. Dunloe, our goalkeeper, made a fabulous save, and he was descended on, really. And, I certainly the referee's entitled to his opinion, but I think everybody in Croke Park didn't think that it was a free-in. That's all I would say about that.
So you're feeling hard done by, really, in the end?
Well, I'm not going to criticise the referee. It's a tough job. But, at the same time, we're all entitled to our opinions, and in my opinion, it certainly was a very harsh one.
But let's just look at Cork's performance. What are your overall thoughts on it?
Well, I think it was a typical Cork-Waterford game, It was to and fro the whole way through. Waterford got a very good start to the second half. We worked our way back in with 2 tremendous goals late in it. That was brilliant out of our lads. They kept fighting to the end, and it was a disappointing finish for us, really. Very disappointing.
Well, after the first game, we were talking about the performances of the forwards. I think today we have to look at Tom Kenny in midfield, and Sean Ogan defence was immense, wasn't he?
Tremendous, yeah. We had some great performances there. Fellas gave their all, There were some tremendous performances. Great skill on both sides, and, the way that the forwards were manoeuvring the backs, and it was a joyful hurling match, to be honest. I really enjoyed the game itself.
Well, Justin McCarthy was saying that Waterford have lots of room for improvement. What about Cork?
Well, I'm sure Justin might say that, with his players, to get an extra bit out of them. But, that's fair enough. But I think, in any case, that our players gave their all today. We worked our way into a 4-point lead with a couple of minutes to go, and it was just a frantic finish, really.
Well, Gerard, we cannot wait for the next one. Thanks a lot. Let's go back to Michael again.
Joe McCarthy, of course, the Cork manager, talking to us there in a fair to Gerald. I think regaining his composure there at the end, because he's not happy with that closing incident. And I have to say that there's a big question mark about this, Cyril. What's your opinion of it?
Well, when you see it again, you'd feel like that Cork would feel hard done. It was a fantastic game. Now, this is young Owen McGrath going through. He should have maybe tapped through a great save here by Dunloe. Another shot comes back in again. It's blocked again. Dunloe kind of covers, and they're all on top of him. Now, all day he was throwing in them kind of balls. Watch it again out closely. Okay. Most people feel, but he went for glory. Great save, great shot. It goes back out again. Paul Flynn back on the
ball, or does he get a push from Paul Flynn?
Well, when you see the Paul Flynn, look, when he's covering it, but Paul Flynn comes in as well, it could be free out. But most of the 99% well, everyone thought here, looking at it there, that was going to be a throw-in. I would think Cork won't be too happy with Brian Gavin, because anything that was going all day, it just happened. He wasn't at his part, but it just happened that way. And even yesterday, Michael, the gate, fantastic game of hurling, an epic game of hurling, but you'd have to say that the referee and things, they'll have to even get fitter, because you can't be just walking around the pitch and blowing the whistle 20 or 30 yards. I said to you yesterday.
I don't know, did he consult with his umpires there on that basis? I mean, they're the guys that are actually standing alongside that decision, you know. I mean, okay, I mean...
It's suited to have a draw,
It's suited to have a draw, certainly, you know, and I mean...
There was three options there.
Yes.
There was a free out, drop the ball, or a free in.
But I think in normal circumstances, the ball is taken out to the 14-yard line and a slap ball is given.
But you have to say over the 70 minutes, you have to say it'd be very hard looking on Justin McCarthy. More like they played all year in the matches, they came back from the dead there. You'd imagine at times they're going to go in overdrive and win well, and yet there were 4 or 5 hours, 2 or 3 minutes to go. Next thing, come back from the dead again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I hope that incident doesn't take away from the game of hurling, because this was a fantastic game of hurling.
Absolutely fantastic game of hurling. But people will say that the GA played for a draw, this one, the opportunity was there.
But listen to me now a second. Who won't come back next Sunday? 72,000 here today. Put that on next Sunday, Kilkenny West, we'll have about 75, 78,000. Sure, if you're alive to see it, isn't it great? That's what it's all about. Okay, Cork be disappointed, but...
That's fine, sir, on that basis, right? I mean, but if you're a player, and a decision like that goes against you, I mean, for a place in an All-Ireland semi-final, it's a tough one. And I mean, look, the referee makes the call at the end of the day, right? I mean, if the rule is there, if you line the ball, but it's the consistency. And so many times have we seen fellas line the ball and there's no free being given, you know. So, but I mean,
it's an easy option for the
referee.
Give
credit to both teams. Give credit to Waterford. I mean, Cork came back there in the second half, got the goals. Waterford will probably kill themselves on the basis the amount of shots that they hit wide from long distance out as well. But at the end of the day, look, it was a cracker of a game.
It's no doubt about that. And I said to you two lads, I mean, there were some mighty performances, individual performances by both sides, and you wouldn't like to see anybody lose.
Kim McGrath was centre backs in the Waterford team. There are many to try them, but like he was colossus. Okay, he got caught for 1 or 2 hours, but like he had a great game. You'd hate to see. I was saying to Tomas if they were beaten, you'd hate to see him. Even Tomas said you'd hate to see him being on the beaten because he had played so well. But like the Cork forwards, even though they're not physical, they were still very, very busy and got great scores. You'd imagine Waterford got the goals. Even the start second half, Paul Flynn back to himself again today, got a great goal, went to the driving seat. Cork came back. They came again, and Waterford, you know, cruising. And next thing, typical Cork, like to get the goals again to go to drive on the front, and then you'd imagine they had won it. You'd say, well, Waterford got. But to be fair to Waterford, this is a different Waterford team to ever before. They came back again from the dead.
There is a lot of credit from 4 points down. Time was almost up, you know. And I mean, to get the goal that they did after Cusack made a fantastic save, I mean, really left it in the melting pot with time almost up.
In fairness, both sides were stared in defeat in the face, and both of them responded.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've seen over the last.
You see, it's a different ball game than below. You see, when you have the Munster Leinster title, as you know, everyone comes back in. This is the final 8 here, and that's why yesterday's game.
Except we are coming back.
Well, yeah, we are coming back. Yeah, but like for the loser, there's no back. So it's great to see it. I know Cork will be disappointed psychologically. Justin McCarthy will be the happy manager that he got out of jail really at the end.
Yeah, I suppose he did. In fairness to most, you know, because I mean the game was starting to the flow was going to Cork in the end.
Yeah, but I think I was going to Cork. I've been going 4 points up. The Kevin Hartner point there, you would say, was the ceiling score, you know. But I mean, maybe a lapse of concentration again. Waterford used a quick puck out once or twice there in the second half and caught defenders out of position. And the goal, I mean, like they needed a goal at that stage, you know. And even though McGrath gone through, you could hear the Waterford supporters saying, "Throw it over the bar, let's go." But
if he got the goal,
natural instinct was that he was gone inside. He's not sure. He was bearing down the ball, went into the goal. He was the hero. There will be no complaints.
There was so much to talk about in that second half. Let's kind of rewind a little bit and let's go back to Kieran Murphy's goal, which was the first big breakthrough from a Cork point of view. Flynn got a nice sneaky goal earlier on.
Cork won very little puck outs, but this is one that they got on the loose here. Hartnett got this ball and he floated. Now you'd imagine he was going to put it over the bar. When he mentioned it, he just floats it in. Now it comes in low here. There's a little flick, half a flick here, but Neil Ronan hops up and Murphy comes on the break, kind of on the, you know, coming through at him. He's not going to miss it there. Now it's an unusual shot to take, like a tennis racket, little, but look, it just flicks up here from, but he's causing trouble all day. He's small, onto the break here, gone right through, and he doesn't go to hit it left or right, flicks it bang into the back of net. Nothing Clinton Hinsey could do about it, but that type of goal
it was a great option to pick. Look what you came here, guys, waiting for him to actually swing through the hurley, and up he goes. I mean, that's probably part of Donald O'Grady's brief when he was training Cork. He had him practicing a lot like that. When you get bearing down and goal, man behind you, back the ball.
Like a tennis racket.
Yeah. When Neil Ronan got the goal for Cork, I thought it was game up for Waterford.
Yeah, I mean, you would have felt at that stage that was it, you know. The game was done and dusted, and you would say fair play to Cork. They came back into a brilliant game and got great scores and never left a head drop whatsoever. And it's kind of a ball that was being kicked forward. Nobody really took possession, and there's Tom Kenny with the shot again. We saw Tom in the first half breaking through like that, and I suppose the keeper will be disappointed. I mean, he spilled the ball. He spilled it in the first half as well. It was a good save, but Ronan, it was the quickest to react, and he played very well there in the second half period as well, Neil Ronan.
Kind of thing I suppose goalkeepers should be maybe scooping it
Yeah,
away.
but you'd have to say, like a back, you can't afford to be behind it. You have to win them. You have to believe that the goalie's going to block it and win the race in. Now, it was still a great save. If the back was in front of Neil Ronan, it was safe, but like Ronan was a predator. The Cork full forward line, Neil Ronan, Murphy and Joe Dean, they're not big, but they are very kind of stick worky and wristy, and they're on them breaks the whole time.
Waterford, said the least of it, needed a goal at this stage, and they got it.
Ah, well, like, sure, they got a fantastic goal. Like, you know, this Malumphey guy, like, it was hard to see them coming back because time was nearly up. You know, here they're down the 4, kind of a hopeful ball in, but Jet was always dangerous along here. Breaks across here now in a minute, you know, Flynn here's a bang, back. I mean, it's again, look at again overhead.
That was top draw save. Watch this again. I mean, look,
it was Flynn goes for
the best man in the best position to have it, Flynn. That's a great shot, but what a save.
Yeah.
Again, maybe
reflex action to us.
You look at the question, maybe people are looking there. I mean, is it a square ball or something like that? You know, we give him the benefit of the doubt. It came back off the goalkeeper, and he's quick in. Great reaction by Waterford. I mean, to be 4 points down at that stage, when they needed a goal, they really came up trumps.
Who's going to win the replay?
Well, a lot now is going to depend if they're going to allow Kim McGrath to dominate like he did today. Like he had a colossal game. Now Tim McCarthy just couldn't get to grips with him. Neither could Niall McCarthy.
I was probably the biggest thing from Cork's perspective today, right? That they didn't. I thought that they took them a long time to move Patrick Cronin from the wing into Ken McGrath because nobody was winning ball down there.
Were won by Waterford.
Won by Waterford, absolutely. You know,
but you can imagine that Cork, like they will be disappointed, but it's very hard to see Waterford keep like Big Dan and getting these goals. It's very hard to keep getting these goals the whole time. And you'd imagine that the Cork defence could improve again just enough to, if they squeak out the goals, if they stop them going through, the Cork could win the game.
Despite it being an epic battle, it still leaves a question over about Waterford as to whether they can get over this hurdle here at Croke Park. This question is still open.
The question is open, Mike, but the big thing is, the question was nearly closed, was nearly answered there with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
They'll be relieved they got out of jail. Now, can they rise it again? They have a lot of hard battles. You'd have to say they played with great fluency. When they got into the rhythm, Cork were most of the game, Cork were chasing until they got them 2 goals. And next thing they were in front, typical Cork. And you imagine they close off the game, but they weren't able to close it off.
Michael, that's happened to them so many times in the past when the game is won in the last minute. Like, they never give up the ghost, and as a sign of a good team that they fought to the final whistle and never gave up, and they got the reward with the replay.
It is. From a Cork's perspective, it was kind of a seesaw kind of a thing, sort of a roller coaster. Cork looked poor at times. They looked brilliant at times.
They looked brilliant at times, looked very poor, as you said. I mean, like to see maybe Jerry O'Connor taken off was an unusual to see. Maybe got injured, right? Niall McCarthy certainly come on was a boost, but you could see he was lacking match practice, definitely. I mean, he hasn't been playing. I mean, that's a big boost for him now.
The was Sean O'Gahel coming back into form. He came into like he was having a poor year by his standards, and of course the big day again, he loved it, and he relished. As it went on, he was getting better and better and better. And if they won today, he'd have a colossal. Like you could see him becoming the man of the match or of the season again.
He's one of those players, Sean, come at the hour, come at the man. Like there was no question, as Cyril said there, he stuck the old chest out. He made the runs, got a couple of points as well.
Yeah, I mean, but he was under pressure coming into the game. I mean, people were talking that he wasn't having a very good season, and he was coming under pressure because his man was scoring, and the game started slowly for him as well. I mean, 1 or 2 puckouts weren't won by him, but after that he took total control. And like when Ronan Kern maybe who was one of the best performers for Cork over the championship at centre back wasn't commanding, or John Gardner likewise as well, up step Sean O'Gahel, and that's the beauty of this Cork team.
One of the heroes for Waterford today, Ken McGrath. He's with Joanne.
Thanks, Michael. Well, Ken, you've just come straight from the dressing room. What's the overwhelming feeling in there?
A small bit of relief. We're 4 points down, probably 2 or 3 minutes to go, and we dug it out in the end. We got a goal and a lucky point at the end, so we're happy in the end.
Is that what you feel, a lucky point?
Well, I was too far away to see exactly what happened, but I think the lads said he picked it off the ground, but we'll take what the ref can give us, and I said at that stage in the game we would have taken anything at all,
It looked a couple of times like you were getting, you were getting the upper hand, so then what happened?
Small bit of crazy shooting really from, I missed 3 or 4 frees myself, 1 or 2 lads missed another few points, but Cork are no easy team, and it's hard to score off them, but I think it was a great game of hurling again there.
Was there anything in your heads, given that you had already played them this year and all the hype over that, did that affect you going into this game?
Not really. It's a quarter-final stage. You play whatever you're put against, and Cork, we know Cork well, they know us well, and I think we showed up a great game of hurling again there,
And I know you said you got the lucky point at the end. Is there that feeling that you did get out of jail?
But just anytime you're 4 points down with 2 or 3 minutes to go and you get a draw, you'd have to be happy, and we're looking forward to the next week, and we can't wait for it.
And you did show character there at the end. Is the team very happy in there that they did manage to come back like that?
Well, we expected to win today, so there's a small bit of a sadness in there, but we got a draw and we're there again. We're not gone from the championship, so you have to be happy at a certain degree, so we're looking forward to next week.
And no such things as Croke Park jinxes for you?
No, we bet Tip last year in the quarter-final, and we're unlucky to lose the Cork last year. That thing has gone out the window, I think, at this stage, and I think we're back to Thurles next week, so home ground for us, really,
And you're smiling. Well, good luck with that, Ken, and well done today. Back to Michael.
Ken is going to Thurles next week. Not 100% sure about that, but that'll be confirmed shortly for us. Contrast in to the end of the second half, the beginning of the second half, because at the start of the second half, Paul Flynn hit Cork with a real sucker punch. I mean, the Cork were on the ropes, if not taking account.
Yeah, Michael, it's a start Cork didn't want. They were after coming back to get level at half-time, and here, Flynn had a good game today, back to himself, he was having a quiet season. Mullane flicks it off here. Again, going to go in here now, with a little hand flick here. Now look at here, nothing in his mind when they go. Takes a step or two, bang. After what now, Jimmy Sullivan came across Sean O'Keefe, and he probably unsized him he hits, but again, he hits the ground, makes sure to hit it off the ground in front of the goalie, hits it and bang into the back net. It was a fantastic start for Waterford. Oh yeah, nothing in his mind on the goal.
He wouldn't give the ball to anybody else in that position but Flynn. I mean, he has fierce power in his strike, and he's very comfortable when he gets the ball in his hand, and I mean, that was a tonic start. Great start for Waterford in the second half, and you'd expect them to push on at that stage. But they never did. Two or three times in the match, when they had got, even in the first half, when they went 5 points ahead, they didn't take advantage and push it home.
But it's sign of two good teams, you see. It's hard to go push away when the other team is very good as well. It was a classic again, especially the second half. Okay, the first half is kind of dead, but you're going to have that because they know one another inside out, and I'm sure it's going to be the same again next weekend.
A few minutes after that, Cork did get a break, got a break. They got a penalty. Got the goal from that.
Yeah, when the penalty came again, you see the Cork forwards are tricky. Here's Kieran Murphy. Now this guy caused trouble all day. Little hand pass in here, another little hand pass along here. From right in, and he's taken down and has to give the penalty. Okay, now one of the Waterback says, look, he was kneeling down. Watch the lad coming in late now. Forget about number 7 here. Watch this fella coming in on top of him. It is all over, knives out down. Now Neil Ronan comes up, drills a great ball. Rises it lovely, holds it up, nice balance, and drills it.
Normally Ronan wouldn't be kind of known as the Cork penalty taker, maybe the full back. Diarmuid Sullivan comes up, or Donald Hughes will come up, but showed a lot of confidence there. The strike was fantastic.
But Tomas all day he was looking for action. Ronan was looking for action all day.
The inside guys look very threatening. I mean, I think Kieran Murphy, when he got possession as well, looked very, very dangerous as well in possession, and he won that penalty, and it's hard to play for.
There's no doubt that the contrast in this Cork team from the team that played Tip and was beaten down in Thurles.
Well, you see, Michael, I mean, their backs were to the wall today, right? And the big question, was there a kick in this Cork team? I mean, they've been here for the last 4 years in All-Ireland finals, right? Was there a kick left in the team? And I think the answer to themselves today, that there's still a kick there. I mean, they still have this desire to be here come September as well, They'll be very disappointed inside there as well. But they also know that they have the chance again the next day. They have come there. They are building a team again, right? Niall McCarthy gets his 30 minutes there of the game. He'll be a lot better for him the next day as well, So I mean, you couldn't call it again, Michael, on the basis of what we saw there. Who's going to win this game?
If they had been beaten today, people would be talking about maybe the end of an era for Cork. Marty mentioned in the commentary there that John Gardner has played the All-Ireland final every year for the last 3 years.
That's because Cork are good enough to be in there, you see. Everyone's giving out, we don't want the Cork-Kilkenny final again. But the point is, if they're good enough, they're going to be in there. And to be fair to Waterford, they've been the number 3 or 2 team for the last number of years, and everyone else is chasing the pack. And what we've seen this weekend, you're looking at Kilkenny, Cork, Waterford. They're the 3 top teams, and everyone else, there's a nice gap. Now, fair play to them if they've kind of bridged it, but everyone else is a nice bit off that pace.
There's 5 still left in the championship, of course, now. From what we've seen over the weekend, what's the pick?
Well, I suppose, I mean, when you look at Kilkenny, right, and you look at the demolition job done in the space of a couple of minutes yesterday, 10 minutes, when they got their opportunities, they will still probably be favourites for the title. But I think on the basis of what you've seen there, both of those teams, whoever comes through this, will look at themselves, and maybe they'll get to an All-Ireland final, and if they're there to meet, we say, Kilkenny, that they will really put it up to them. I mean, if Waterford were to win this match and go on to win a semi-final, Jesus, they're going to take some stopping, because the hunger and the desire that's in there for a team that hasn't won is just incredible. That never say die attitude that they had there, never gave up, and that's the sign of a very, very good team.
I suppose the way the championship has panned out, the freshest of the teams there would be Wexford and Kilkenny, and assuming that Kilkenny is a touch better than the Wexford.
It's very dangerous what we're saying now. Wexford are there, don't give them a chance yesterday. Limerick,
I'm not going down that road.
Yeah, well, Limerick
are reversing back up again.
Limerick are there, and until the last 6 or 7 minutes against Waterford, they ran them very close to us. They're actually there, and they'll be saying, great stuff. The more that these guys look better, on different styles. Limerick play a hard, more than player, hard, physical, very honest game. Not the same little running and passing and craft as Cork or Waterford, but they'd still fancy themselves. But like whoever gets through the next weekend will be favourites against Limerick, and Kilkenny will be favourites to beat Wexford. There's no doubt about that. But what we'll be hoping for Wexford in the semi-final, that they raise their game 100% compared to last time they played in the
It's a very hard game for both of those to recover for, to then to win to an All-Ireland semi-final.
Okay, well, there's still plenty more to come here on the Sunday Game Live this evening.
And the Cork players are protesting over that final decision that gave the free to Waterford, and Gerald McCarthy is incensed as well. The full-time score here in Croke Park: Waterford 3 goals and 16 points, Cork 3-16.
This team has been questioned all year, whether we have the appetite or not for it, and I think we probably show it today that we definitely have the appetite for this. You know, there's only a month left in the All-Ireland series now. We're going to give it one hell of a shot, and you know, we'll be looking forward to next week's game again.
I suppose it would have been hard on Cork if we'd stole it at the end, but it would have been nice too.
Was it a free?
Well, you know, if the ball was there to be played and the goalkeeper covered the ball and didn't leave anyone play it, so from that point of view, I suppose we're delighted it's a free. I suppose from Cork's point of view, they're probably disappointed, but going by the rule book, yes, it was a free.
Pete Siddlefall said this was an absolutely fantastic game. Was it?
It was a fantastic game. Every time these two teams play, they serve up something special. I thought their Munster semi-final clash was an epic, and it was a great game of hurling. Probably a lot looser than today's game. Cork tightened the screw big time today. They had the 3 suspended players back. They closed the space down to Waterford. They were very, very focused for this game. They came with a game plan. They went into the lead, and in fairness to Waterford, unlike in the past when they would fold with 2 minutes to go and 4 points down, they still stayed fighting and got a draw out of it.
Would it be fair to say the first half wasn't terribly exciting? 10 points to 1-7, it didn't really ignite?
The first half wasn't, and that's what I meant by Cork closed the game down. They didn't want another high-scoring epic with Dan scoring 3 or 4 goals. Cork wanted to grind a victory out of this, to close the space down to the Waterford forwards, and today Mullane and players like that didn't have as much time on the ball as they did have the last day, and that's why the score was so low. But when it came towards the second half and the end of the second half and the game began to open up and legs began to get tired, that's when it opened up.
Anthony, fair result, a draw?
Yeah, I think from everybody's point of view, Pat, isn't it fantastic to see them having to go at it again? Like, from a neutral point of view, I suppose both counties are saying to themselves, we've had tough Munster campaigns, like, and Cork came through the qualifiers, so they're saying maybe it's advantage Kilkenny in the long run, but they have to go at it again, and they're so familiar with each other, and it's fantastic from the neutral point of view, because they just can't seem to help themselves, Pat, except turn out an epic every time.
Listen, the big talking point, we've loads, hundreds and hundreds of texts and emails, was the controversial decision by Brian Gavin to award Waterford a free to equalise the game. And lots of emails and texts from both sides. So, in favour of Brian Gavin's decision, great decision from the referee from Keane, says Keane from Galway. Donlow Cusick knew exactly what he was doing by lying over the ball. Nick from Crumlin says, ref was perfectly correct in his decision. Donlow deliberately lay on the ball to stop Waterford scoring. On the other hand, John said, the referee bottled the big decision. Donlow was fouled while he was on the ground, or vice versa, something similar from Pat in Cove, who said, all you can ask for is that a referee is consistent, and this one wasn't. Seamus Prendergast lay down on the ball in the second half, and it was given as a throw-in. Therefore, surely you can blame the Cork players for feeling aggrieved at the decision. So, lads, what do you make of the whole lot?
Yeah, well, it was the big talking point afterwards, and Gerald McCarthy was very vocal and very upset over it, and he thought that there was no free in it. But we've looked at it from 3 or 4 different angles.
Let's have a look at it.
We'll have a clear look here. Here we see Owen McGrath, and a point would have done for a replay at this stage, but McGrath being McGrath, his confidence was up, he had a blast at it. But watch Donald here. Donald goes down on the ball, and he covers it and shields it with his hands here. In my opinion, Donald covers the ball, and Brian Gavin was correct in his decision. What do you think of it, Anthony?
I think, Pat, he just for a split second he tried to stop the play from continuing, and technically that's a free. Now, I think Tomas made an interesting point today when he said that, you know, there's no problem with it being a free technically, but let all the referees be consistent about it, and that's where Cork, I suppose, have the argument that maybe if it happens at another time, if it happens in the 20th minute of a game and there's 4 or 5 points in it, he brings it out to the 21 and throws it in.
But we heard from referee Brian Gavin, Rule 4.4 says if a player is lying on the ball, it's up to the referee, he can give a free. The referee, in this case, saw it as a free. And irrespective of consistencies or inconsistencies, did he call it right?
Correct. It was an absolutely correct decision. It was technically correct. The rule is there, and it states if a player lies on the ball to prevent play from continuing, it's a technical free, a foul on the ball, a 21-yard free, and he's entitled to give that free if he wants.
And he did consult with an umpire as well.
He did, even though he didn't have to consult with an umpire. It's his own decision, and in my opinion, he called it correct as well.
So we didn't see a case, this wasn't the referee playing for a draw, this was correctly implementing a decision.
Correct.
Well, Pat, I'd say it would have been even more controversial if he hadn't given it.
Yes.
You know, because we'd all be saying, surely that's a free, you know, so look, I think...
Waterford would feel very aggrieved tonight if it was a genuine free, it wasn't given, and they were beaten by Cork, was already lost twice in the championship. So I think everybody is happy. They might be a bit upset down in Cork. But
I think every Cork supporter in the ground, when they saw Owen McGrath bearing down on goal, Pat, they'd have taken a draw, because it looked like it could go to the top corner of the net.
Anthony, you've had a look at 2 goals, which were the two, you'd say, 2 turning points. Neil Rowlands, which you felt put Cork in the driving seat, and then Stephen Malumphey bringing Waterford back from the brink.
That's right, Pat. It was nip and tuck most of the way through. You know, both Waterford seemed to dominate most of the way through, but they weren't putting away Cork, and Cork then kind of came back close to them and got the goal.
They hung in there, didn't they?
They got the goal from the penalty to bring them back level, and this is a crucial stage, and it's probably maybe the only mistake Ken McGrath made all day. Just didn't take control, but that's how quick Tom Kenny is, rapping onto it. No, not the greatest shot. I'd say Clinton Hennessy, if he sees it again, might have rather if he put it out to the side, but great corner forward play from Ronan to follow up. And then when we thought Waterford were probably dead and gone,
a minute and a half
a lot of the times they would have been gone, but great character, and Flynn really had a great second half. Brilliant shot, brilliant save. Stephen Malumphey outside the square, as we'll see again, shot in, brilliant save from Donal Lowe. What a game he had. But a great follow-up from Malumphey, and taps it to net, and Waterford get out of jail. And they showed great character. But the only thing I'd say as well is, like, they haven't managed to beat Cork in a knockout game. That might be playing on their minds a little bit this evening, but it's been a long road for Cork, 4 All-Ireland final appearances in a row, and it's going to be hard for them to pick it up again. They made a massive effort today, I
We'll
thought.
talk about the replay later on in the programme. But let's go to man of the match. Contenders, Anthony?
Well, on the Cork side, Pat, I thought Neil Ronan was an obvious contender with the scoring he done. I mean, very hard for him not to get it. I thought Donal Lowe was excellent in goal. Some of the saves were fantastic. Kieran Murphy obviously had a big role to play. On the Waterford side, an awful lot of them played well. Ken McGrath, majestic. Tony Brown, rolling back the years again. Stephen Malumphey, huge impact for a new player. And Paul Flynn in the second half. Dan DeMan at times, John Milan at times. You know, there was some massive performances.
A lot of contenders, so who did he actually choose, Pete?
Man of the match, Sean O'Halpine. I thought he was tremendous throughout the game, even in the first half when Cork were struggling to find their form.
Hasn't been having a good season.
And hasn't been having a good season. And I think the Thurles Gate effect might have affected Sean O'Halpine. But, you know, he's a very sincere guy, and he was very upset over being suspended. And here we see, look at that for a catch. Like, he was so focused today. He was so much on his game. He's only scored 2 points in 1 point in championship today, and today he scored 2 points. He would feel that he let Cork down by being suspended, and today was the day that he targeted to come back, and what a comeback.
So well done indeed to Sean O'Halpine. And after the match, he spoke with our reporter, Joanne Cantwell.
In fairness, we could have easily lost it because I thought when Owen got the ball, I thought he was going to put it over the bar, ball over the bar to make it a draw. But in fairness, he went for the juggler altogether. And I mean, what a save by Donal. He's pulled us out of the fire like many times before, like, and not alone first save, but the recovery save as well, like. And to be honest, I didn't have a great view of the free that was given in. I thought it was pretty stiff now, to be honest. But look, Waterford had chances today, Cork had chances today, and look, if it's a draw, we'll cop the draw, take it on, and bring it on for the replay.